Eric Scott on the call last night. Wes Clark, home run number 20, said that was his season goal, and he got it in the first inning. And the Gamecocks don't get much more, but they didn't need any more. A second shutout in the last, 3 games now? Saturday's shutout with Brett Carey over in Kentucky on Sunday, and then the last midweek game of the season turns into a 2-0 shutout win for the Gamecocks last night over Appalachian State, rolling into the Thursday, Friday, Saturday last regular season series of the year, which will include the possibility of 100% capacity, the news coming down yesterday. Hope that gets you into a good way, a good headspace to begin a Wednesday morning. Bill, where are you?
Oh, controversy, man. You see all the sports controversial topics. Even a guy that I'm good friends with being charged with extortion yesterday. I did watch the baseball game, so I'll start local, but watched a lot of that last night. As good as Derek Scott's call was, Birch Antley, I was watching on the SEC Network Plus, he and Kip. And Birch, right as Wes Clark comes to bat, is explaining that Wes Clark is 1 homer behind the national lead. I think it's the young man whose name I won't even try and pronounce, from LSU, I believe. And he can't even finish the sentence, and Wes Clark goes yard and ties him with that 20th homer. But watch that. Good outing from C.J. Wines last night, and the bullpen finishes it off. So I watched that. Got into a little bit of playoff hockey last night, and Patrick couldn't get into the playoff basketball. Of course, maybe because when I started watching the Pacers Hornets, it was a blowout basically from the get-go.
Blowouts.
Yeah, I didn't get into the second one, but man, you guys, and I do want to get into this just a little bit later on this morning. The 2 controversial stories that popped out yesterday. Dino Gaudio, who I consider a friend, used to have had him on some radio and podcast to talk college basketball before, being charged with extortion at Louisville, and then also the baseball player, I'm trying to upset, his name is escaped me, Mercedes, that Tony La Russa is upset, Yerman Mercedes, hitting a home run on Monday night on a 3-0 count, and his own coach being angry at him. I mean, what are we doing here in baseball? Is baseball like the chief sport with the unwritten rules and being upset? Is it?
Of course.
That's nothing new.
What other sport even has that?
Yeah, there's some unwritten rules in hockey, right?
I mean, yeah, but you just fight. It's not really unwritten rules. It's just like you don't do that and you fight over it.
Right, and that's kind of what's going on with baseball. When you throw 90-something miles an hour right at a dude or right behind a dude, that oftentimes leads to a fight. But yeah, I don't think I remember. I guess we've seen it to some degree, but your own coach being mad at you when there are plenty of players in the league sticking up for you, including pitchers.
Yeah, Trevor Bauer last night was one night that stood out to me.
Well, that was a really interesting move that the White Sox made, hiring him at this point in his career for sure. But we'll get into that baseball thing in a minute. Bill, let's start with what you pointed out with Dino Gaudio. This is really where we are in college basketball. Because to me, now we had 4 assistant coaches in the country get arrested and get in big trouble, including the former Carolina assistant coach Lamanna. But besides that, this sweeping FBI investigation that was supposed to turn college basketball around resulted in, I guess, maybe Sean Miller finally being out at Arizona years later. We still got Will Wade coaching at LSU. And now an assistant coach who says he has evidence of recruiting violations. Louisville turns that around on him and says, you're trying to extort us and you're going to get arrested. That's what's happened here. Am I reading this wrong? Are you reading this the same way? That's how I understand this situation at Louisville. Basically, that Louisville tried to fire Dino Gaudio. He said, hey, I've got evidence that there are recruiting violations. You guys will pay me the 17 months left on my contract. and now he's being charged with extortion.
Yeah, send a text message. Send a text message. It's over. And this is somewhat interesting because it's been on the back burner with everything going on. And I feel like college basketball is continuing to try to sweep it under the rug. But some of the things now that have popped out in the last few days about Adidas paying Zion Williamson's family, and the culture as a whole, the Dino Gaudio thing hit close to home because last night, again, it was a period of time where I would consider Dino Gaudio a very good friend. And I think, and so like seeing that last night, but yeah, what he did or what is being alleged is that basically Chris Mack decided to replace he and Luke Murray. I actually knew more about it because even though Dino is a guy that I knew, Luke Murray is the son of Bill Murray and gained a lot of fame when he was at Xavier with Chris Mack, and Bill Murray was in the stands as Xavier was making their run. But he decided to replace Luke Murray and Dino Gaudio, and basically Dino Gaudio said, "Look, you're going to pay me my 17 months, or else I know we have illegal recruiting videos. I know we illegally practiced with graduate assistants, graduate managers being used in practice, which is not allowed. And I'm going to turn this over to the NCAA." And then I haven't figured out if it was after the meeting. The way I've understood it is it was after the meeting occurred. He then sent a text message, and extortion to me, Tim, I've watched a number of mob movies in my life. That is where the word extortion comes from to me. Like that's, and so the part that last night that I was trying to figure out is that I guess because he sent a text message that they're able to figure out was outside of the state of Kentucky, it is interstate communication with intent to extort. So yeah, you have this, you have what again is not, we haven't really discussed, but some stuff popping up about Adidas now with Zion Williamson that I think I thought a lot of people probably maybe kind of already knew. I don't know, maybe they didn't know, and I don't know how you want to label that Zion thing. I think most people assume just that there's no actual like photo evidence of Zion's parents taking money, but the college basketball culture, man, as a whole, when you talk about Will Wade, Sean Miller's finally out at Arizona, toxic, dirty, just that sport, Patrick. We started last week talking about doping horses and just kind of making fun of the entire race of the entire scope of horse racing and just the overall perception of it. College basketball is right there with it.
So that's a heck of a way to start Wednesday morning for sure, in a lot of different ways. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around both of those stories that you brought up about the controversy this morning. Not even the Zion one, but the Dino Gaudio extortion one. Forest head coach and then former assistant Louisville college basketball coach, and now the 47-mile-an-hour 3-0 pitch that a hitter dared to swing on and hit a home run on in baseball. Is there another job where you get in trouble for doing your job?
I don't. That's the thing. It's to me, the baseball story is how you described it, and it's what Patrick said to start. Like the dude, Mercedes is doing his job. I know that the score is, I think it was 15-4 at the time, or 14-5, 15-4, 14-5, something like that. But 15-4. Thank you. So, but man, I'm with you. It's one thing if the other team gets upset, and what I read last night is the other team wasn't particularly happy. But like it's Tony La Russa and saying that we'll handle this internally and there will be punishment coming.
Well, it's gonna get handled. Tony La Russa probably lost his team yesterday. He probably lost the clubhouse yesterday because there were other White Sox players reaching out. Like Tim Anderson's one of the most exciting players in that team, and he sent like an Instagram post saying, "Keep doing you. You're mean." Like this is not Mike Trout here. This is a 28-year-old rookie that needs every hit and home run that he can get. Why is he gonna just take an at-bat off? If he has a chance to hit a home run at the end of the year, helps his stats and makes him money, what's the problem? Like it's pretty ridiculous. So I can guarantee that all the people that didn't want the old man Tony La Russa coming to the White Sox in the first place are taking a victory lap today because most of the locker room is not going to agree with him.
I'm reading more about this because it's fascinating. It's always a bad sign when after the game, your player who was involved in anything controversial has one message, and the coach has the exact opposite message. And that's exactly what it was after that home run. I mean, I get it. It's not a close game, and there are 2 outs in the ninth, and it's a 3-0 count. But aren't you just saying if you don't want your player to swing that you're just trying to get the game over?
Well, what's he supposed to do? Take a ball and get walked? The game's going to go even longer then.
But, I mean, if you're a real baseball purist, I need to hear that. I need to understand where you're coming with respecting the game. Are you trying to get it over with? Is that how you're respecting the game? Or how is the Minnesota Twins throwing a position player respecting the game? What are you doing? I'm all for respect, man. And I understand baseball has its own kind of code, but I think we've evolved from a baseball standpoint and to understand that a lot of that stuff, it's kind of garbage. You got to get over yourself. And I've really been interested to see like the social media reaction here too. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not always going to jump in on the overwhelming majority of social media reaction. Like I thought that stuff with the NCAA golf deal. I know Jay Phillips is on that side, right, where the NCAA robbed the ladies of their careers. It stunk, no doubt about it. I hate it for them, but they made the decision. Just because you video a decision and you put it on social media and it stinks for you personally, it doesn't mean that everybody should give you a hug and tell you how life is unfair and the whole thing. Sometimes that happens. And I don't think we do enough of that as adults these days to tell people, hey, man, that stinks. I'm sorry, but you got to keep going. You got to move on. And the world's not here to give you a hug and wipe up your tears all the time. And this is the baseball version of that. You're mad at a hitter for hitting. You're mad at a hitter for hitting. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm with it. It's just a weird, like it's a new age versus an old school mentality, and I think it's interesting to see it in baseball. Patrick, you just brought it up. The White Sox, if you don't follow it, have got a lot of young, exciting talent. Mercedes himself is their I think statistically their best hitter this year is what I looked at. I don't know how he did last night, but he was at least going into yesterday was statistically their best hitter. And then he ends up hitting a home run, and you've got La Russa being completely upset with it. Just actually doing the entire post-game press conference on it and the unwritten rules of baseball. And then you've got Yermin Mercedes basically saying, yeah, I'm not going to change. I'm always
I got to be me.
I got to be me.
Here.
And I think Gene on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line, this is where it's interesting. He says, I guess the baseball player has to remember that the manager is not always right, but he's always the manager. And then that brings me to a question, where do you draw the line in sports on that? Where do you draw the line on the walk? I know it's a walk-on, but late in the game, you get a walk-on in a basketball game and he's shooting a three because he wants to get points in a game.
Everybody loves that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody understands. That's almost like an unwritten rule of basketball. Of course he can do that. Why would you ever be upset with that guy? To me, I understand what Gene's saying here, and that's kind of an old school approach, but that ain't how it works in pro sports anymore, and it hasn't for a while. The coach typically makes less than the players, and he's more of a babysitter a lot of times than the guy telling them what to do. I will bet on the best player in pro sports over the coach almost 100% of the time in pro sports. And I am definitely betting on that in this situation with 76-year-old Tony La Russa. I got plenty of respect for him. Done a lot in baseball, but not in this situation. I'll go with the 28-year-old who's leading the team in hitting, right? Who his coach is mad at him for hitting a home run. What do you do? What are we doing in baseball? That's ridiculous.
I think it's interesting. I think there's so many things about this, as Gene points out, just the mentality of baseball, and we've, and I've joked. I think I've joked. Maybe I'm being dead serious. I don't know about the magic batter and getting to see the home run and getting guys up and creating excitement in baseball. I mean, that's what I know it's 15-4 there in the late in the game, but that's what you're putting people in the stands. That's what people want to see. They want to see Yermin Mercedes go yard on that. And look, this is also flip it around. Isn't this you compete to the last pitch?
Right.
I don't care that it's a 162 game season. You don't. Where's the rule I'm putting in? Because the pitcher Williams Astudillo. Why can't we just have Jones? But
what pitcher are you talking about? The guy through the 47-mile-an-hour pitch?
He was an infielder.
Position player?
He was a position player.
Right.
He was a position player. And in this, and I'm 39, so I don't think I'm old by any stretch of the imagination. But there are times like if you give up, I'm going to try to crush you. If you just decide you're going to, Austin, my 9-year-old, it's a life lesson. You don't give up. You never give up. I feel like Jimmy Valvano right there. But,
Well done.
if that's what they're going to do, you don't go, well, the other team gave up. I guess we should give up as well. And I guess we're just going to take all their pitches. And it's an interesting topic. I saw that last night. I saw the Gaudio thing. I was watching the baseball game. I was like, man, sports is just out there. I watched a little bit of those 2 blowouts. The Hornets were awful last night. I was hoping they would be close, and then I got into a little bit of hockey playoffs last night as well. So it was an interesting sports night. It was also an interesting night just because on a personal side, when you're too tired to use the air fryer and you purchase pizza, you've reached an interesting point in life. Like, I was just so tired from the last few days that I even looked at the kids. I was like, I don't even feel like air frying no chicken nuggets. I'm just going to order pizza.
That's impressive. On that one, because you know what my dinner was last night, right? Chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets. We stopped at the store. I bought a bag of chicken nuggets. I was like, look, I'll do veggies and chicken nuggets for you guys. And we got home and I got into. I felt a little bit like Patrick. I got into Tomb Raider, the Lara Croft, the old one. And at 6:30, I was like, I don't feel like even doing. I was just laying on the couch. I was like, I don't even feel like putting stuff in the air fryer. What's the pizza? What do you want? Stuffed crust pizza? Got it. All right, we'll get it here in 30 minutes. So
I've never watched Tomb Raider.
Huh?
I've never watched Tomb Raider though.
It wasn't bad. Well, of course, that's me, the C expert on movies. You're weighing in.
David C. hitting us up this morning on the Facebook live stream. Video stream sponsored by Buford Lending, by the way. You can find it Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, at 1075 The Game on the station handle. He says competitors will always want to compete. This is the weird thing about this, right? I mean, Tony La Russa is a big-time competitor. You don't get a job as a 76-year-old as a manager for a team without being that. It's just that his unwritten rules of competition are much different than, obviously, Yermin Mercedes, the 28-year-old who smashed that 3-0 pitch. Chris hits me up on Twitter and says the ball was a strike. I don't understand. If you want to walk the guy and don't let him swing at a 3-0 pitch, don't throw a ball that may be called a strike. Is this going to be the rare sports talk radio conversation that we have, Bill, where everybody is on the same side?
Yeah.
We're all three on the same side.
It's the wrong guy. I'm looking at his career right now. I mean, starting with the Dominican Summer League Nationals in 2011, he played on like 6 different teams in 2014, 3 teams in 2015, 5, 6, 7 different teams in 2016, 4 different teams in 2017, 3 in 2018, 3 in 2019, and like after 10 years of just grinding, he makes it to the major leagues. He's making $570,000 in a league where guys are making 40 million a year. And this is the guy that's getting a hard time from his old man coach for hitting a home run. Get out of here.
So you're saying like, if it was Bryce Harper?
If it was Bryce Harper being a jerk and pimping it and all
Right.
that stuff, sure. Get on him, I
Okay.
guess. Yeah. But that's why the locker room's not going to be on his side. Like, they respect the heck. I guarantee they respect everything about this guy's grind to get to the show. And now that he's succeeding, and this guy that is just so out of touch is saying he's going to punish him for hitting a home run. Get out of here, dude.
And like you said, Pat, that brings up the next part of, or what Gene brought up, I guess, about when is the manager right but not right in this situation? What is the role of the manager here? And Tony La Russa is an interesting guy because of his age and because of the dynamics of this White Sox team that has some really good young players who play a different, have a different mentality of baseball than a 76-year-old, just trying to manage them and keep them straight.
Well, see, I feel like Major League Baseball, we talked about it before with Fernando Tatis Jr. being in these kind of situations. Trevor Bauer, you mentioned, very outspoken in favor of getting rid of dumb, old-fashioned, unwritten rules and evolving the game to the good of the game that has been dying in front of our eyes for the most part for the last couple of decades. And then you see an old school guy kind of hanging on to that now, but he's the guy.
And just for the record on
the
this,
opposing coach. That's the confusing part, right?
Just because I know there's probably more people that are kind of like me. It's early in the baseball season and they're not paying attention. And I've said it a couple times. I should point out the White Sox are in first place in their division. They're a really good baseball team. They're 25-16. That's the second most wins. There's a couple teams with 26, but they've got 25 wins. Like, this isn't the last place team out there. This is not the time to upset your clubhouse also, as Patrick is pointing out. And that's also what makes it kind of interesting, because I'm kind of with Patrick on this. Like, I don't know what in-house punishment was, but man, you better be real careful. And this is, it brings up questions about managers and players in professional sports. And even then you tied in with Dino Gaudio out there just threatening his own former head coach.
If Tony La Russa says you're out of the lineup tonight, he could have a mutiny on his hands. Like, that could get ugly for them.
Well, wait a second. So this thing happened not last night, but the night before, and then last night he got thrown at, right? That's how it worked, I believe.
I didn't even know. I haven't paid any attention to the way.
We've now evolved to that. Last night he got thrown behind. And then that pitcher got thrown out of the game for the Minnesota Twins. So that's where we are in this baseball deal. But you guys know where we really are right now. I mentioned it at the top, 100% capacity. The possibility at against Tennessee this weekend. It's opened up for Gamecock fans. I feel like we have gotten back really for the first time right now. You know what we just did for about 15 minutes, maybe more than 15
Sports Talk Radio.
Just a straight up sports talk controversy. And I was all invested there, just like I used to be. I hope we can do more of that this morning. Love to hear from you about it. 803-404-6100. You can call or text the show. We see all you guys hanging out on the live video stream. Sonny, Carlton, Chavo saying, I see Patrick's cameras doing the hokey pokey again this morning. Yep, he just popped off right to you. Waddy as well. We'll see if Patrick can get over that frustration, or maybe it'll just make him more grizzled and more off to a great start. I like where we're at this morning on a Wednesday. It's the early game. It's 107.5.
Love Chevrolet. You hear me talk about them all the time. Very proud to be associated with them, and proud for another reason. They want to announce that thanks to your incredible loyalty, Chevrolet has once again presented them with the Mark of Excellence Award for 2020. This isn't just any trophy that they get put in the case. The Mark of Excellence Award is the highest honor any Chevrolet dealer can receive, and it's only given out to a handful of dealerships in the entire country each and every year. The Mark of Excellence represents Love Chevrolet's commitment to providing you with the absolute best sales, service, and customer care, like their largest selection to choose from, 14 acres. I've been out there and walked around the lot, plenty to choose from. You've got financing options for all of life situations, buy here, pay here, all the way up to 0% financing for 72 months. You don't need to take my word for it, though. Go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison, between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. They've been in business helping people, helping families for 60 amazing years, and making South Carolina the #1 volume Chevy dealer. Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads. Thank you, Waddy. Love spending time with you too. Let me go wake up the kids. It's school time.
I thought school was a Monday or Wednesday thing.
All right, tiny little gunners.
Nope. Both.
Well, get moving.
Waddy, you could just take us on the ride. Myrtle Beach as well. Wow. Just reading more of that LaRussa thing.
I don't think it was a well-received hire when it happened, was it?
Not really, yeah. I haven't seen anything about Alonzo Frank. He's supposed to have an appointment about being able to play next year. Oh, I guess medically cleared.
Steve McCreary's going to USF.
Yeah, did see Jalen McCrary going to South Florida. All right, Chavo. Beautiful drive. Mount P's not a bad place to be headed today. As long as you're not stuck on I-26 too much. One Trey, nice. David taking us down to Jacksonville. Beautiful.
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah, I think they will. The Canes have had Nashville's number all year. I think they were 6-0 before clinching the playoffs. They finished 6-2 against Nashville in the season, but they had injuries and didn't have anything to play for at the end of the year. So I mean, they're ridiculously good. Also, arguably the best athlete in the world right now is playing his first playoff game tonight.
The best athlete in the world is playing his first playoff game tonight?
Yeah, Connor McDavid.
Oh, okay.
It took me a solid 8 seconds to realize that Nashville and Carolina series instead of the NASCAR.
Yeah. That's how I read it at first, too. I was like, wait, okay, that makes sense.
Jen, I'm very confused that Drew just called in and wants to talk about women's basketball.
Yeah, he said, yeah, I want to get off this baseball talk and talk about women's basketball. So there you go.
You can tell Drew we will not be doing that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, they're going to be good, I think.
He said he wants to drop the women's basketball conversation. Is that?
No.
He wants to drop,
He wants to
baseball
drop
and
this
talk
baseball
women's basketball.
conversation.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Drop. Yeah.
Me too. It's hockey time. Also, Jason Tatum. Did you see what Jason Tatum did yesterday?
Dropped 50 last night.
Yeah, he's just a stud. There's a chance once LeBron and Durant are out of the league, he'll be the best player in basketball. He's got that kind of potential.
That couldn't beat the Gamecocks in the NCAA tournament, huh?
When he was 18, yeah. 17. Actually, it was probably 17 to be honest.
Well, you got that, but the Zion Williamson situation is actually interesting too because it's coming to light because of Brian Bowen,
Yep, his lawsuit.
and now it's.
But this already came out. Why hasn't all of this already come out?
I think these payments
well,
have come out.
it was alleged that Nike paid him, and Nike was able to kind of weasel out of that one. And then now you've got court records showing that Adidas paid him. Well, it's kind of that same thing where, and I know it got swept under the rug and moved on from, but when Cam Newton, it kind of got proven that Mississippi State paid Cam Newton,
His
but
dad.
he didn't go there. He went to Auburn, and Auburn was like, we didn't do anything wrong. And you're like, well, dude, I mean, like, and that's a good question, Waddy. Where is Patrick's playoff beard?
All right, head back in. All right, you guys are up.
We are rolling on a Wednesday. Hope your Wednesday morning's off to a good start. Oh, we haven't had a show start like that in a long, long time.
That's what happens when I'm tired and I don't feel like cooking at night. I lay around and watch TV. I lay on the couch all night and come up with ideas.
It's called preparing for your job, Bill.
Is that what that is? Is that what I did last night?
Tell your kids that.
Okay.
Sorry, I can't make you chicken nuggets. I'm preparing for my job.
Yeah, here's pizza. I'll order you a pizza.
So a lot of stuff going on for the Gamecock perspective. Good night. If you're one of those highly cautious or very concerned fans, and that's how you look at that's your lens for watching the Gamecocks. I can imagine maybe you're saying, "Oh, only 2 runs last night against Appalachian State. This is concerning." And they scored 32 runs over the weekend at Kentucky and got the second shutout in the last 3 games. And doing it on a Tuesday night, I thought Mark Kingston put it very well after the ball game. Said, a lot of times the difference in midweek games for a program like South Carolina is pitching depth. And the main difference between this year and previous years in his tenure, now into, I guess, the 4th year, 3rd, 4th, is pitching depth. This team has it. And they showed it last night, a guy in C.J. Weens that really hadn't gotten much action until the last 10 days or so. We're helping to lead the way in that shutout for the Gamecocks. 2-0 the final score last night over Appalachian State. And the Gamecocks, the main thing for these midweek games, you don't have a slip up, you don't lose momentum, and that's exactly what happened. And you got Wes Clark hitting his 20th home run, which ties the national lead in the country in college baseball. Even after he's had a bit of a slump, and Kingston asked about that last night, and he just says that's baseball. It happens. Guys get hot, then not so much, and then kind of find it again, and Clark, hopefully for Carolina, has found it again, certainly has rebounded from a bit of the slide after just the torrid start that he got off to. So the Gamecocks go into this weekend carrying more momentum after the weekend sweep at Kentucky with the 2-0 win last night against Appalachian State, and the news that 100% capacity, things are opened up at Founders Park. To me, that was the headline from yesterday, though.
Yeah, and let me go back and quote it properly. But the Tennessee coach last night or yesterday afternoon, I guess, upon learning the information about 100%, I'll get you his exact quote. But he I wouldn't say it's a shot. I'm not trying to say it's a shot, but he definitely knows what his team is walking into here at Founders Park and what it means this weekend. This is a good buddy of mine, Wes Rucker. They were interviewing yesterday. Is it Tony Vitello? That is his name, the Tennessee head baseball coach. His quote yesterday when asked about, he says, "We know what we're walking into. That's a great team, great program, great fan base that really tries to get under your skin and make it lively in that park. They got as good a chance as anyone to get to Omaha. I really believe that." So a complimentary thing, but he pointing out that the fan base, the heckling, the rowdy roosters, the third base hecklers, whoever, whatever we've got now, whatever they are a big part. We've had Kip Bulknight has talked about it come on our program that when you put fans in the stands there at Founders Park, that the energy in that place and the environment turns into something very incredible in college baseball, and that's what you hopefully get this weekend. I'm assuming tickets are easier to come by here over the next few days. I'm not sure how. I didn't look to see how the ticket situation is working, given that season tickets weren't sold, and now you've got a complete increase.
So the way that I understand it, season ticket holders get the first chance, and that was yesterday, I believe, immediately, and then it goes to Gamecock Club members, and then general public tickets go on sale tomorrow, is what I'm reading. At 10 o'clock tomorrow, general public tickets will go on sale. It's 11 o'clock today. Gamecock Club members get to get a shot at tickets for the weekend, and 9 o'clock this morning is when the baseball season ticket holders will be given the first opportunity. So I'm not quite sure exactly how that's worked in the past. I guess maybe this year's season ticket holders, maybe from 2020 season ticket holders. Not sure how that goes.
Yeah.
I know this when I've been to Founders Park for some big games through the years. Very rarely do you have hundreds of fans outside the gates who can't find their way in.
Right.
So my point here is, if you want to go to the baseball game this weekend, you can find your way in for sure. And remember, it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Mark Kingston pointing out how the weather is supposed to heat up. So perfect time to have a couple of night games, 7 o'clock Thursday and Friday night, and then the noon game on Saturday with the series finale. That thing has been moved up to noon.
I love that.
Will be on the SEC network. But I am excited for a lot of different reasons that things have been opened up to 100% capacity at Founders Park for this series. And yeah, Tennessee, from that perspective, Bill, they know exactly what South Carolina is doing here. I think they had just opened up things for 100% capacity for their series last weekend against Arkansas. That got heated, and they ended up losing by 1 run in that series finale and dropping 2 out of 3.
Yeah, and one other thing about South Carolina baseball right now, we'll see, whether it carries over or not. But I talk about momentum a lot in baseball and just the general how I think it goes up and down. You see South Carolina win 11 straight to start the season. You see them lose 6 straight. They've won 5 of 6. You've got the big rally that came against Mississippi State. I know they lost the midweek game to Clemson up at Doug Kingsmore last week, but you mentioned the sweep this past weekend. Last night you win. It feels – we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this weekend. But it feels like that momentum shifting back in their favor after losing 7 of 9 SEC games over a 3-weekend period.
Last night's game, I think, though, indicative of just what a crazy game baseball is. You put up 32 runs over the weekend in the SEC on the road, and then you score 2 at home against Appalachian State. Fortunately, though, for the Gamecocks, you win that thing 2-0. Your pitching staff does the job. Wes Clark hits its 20th home run, now tied for the national lead going into this big weekend series. The larger baseball topic we've been talking about is that Major League Baseball controversy a little bit. And to me, this is just simply, are you going to evolve at all? And then how much stock do you put in a manager's 3-0 take sign, right? Because Mick hits us up, Cool Care Heating and Air text line. The manager doesn't want him to swing on a 3-0 count. Give him the take sign. Otherwise, it's up to the hitter whether he wants to swing or not. Ink Dabber hits us up, says the player most likely disregarded a sign from the manager to take the pitch. The issue here is not following orders, not that he didn't follow an unwritten rule. Now, I think it's both of those things. And Tony La Russa, the Chicago White Sox manager, is who we're talking about. Yermin Mercedes is the guy who on a 3-0 pitch Monday night, a 15-4 game against the Minnesota Twins, had the audacity to swing with 2 outs in the ninth inning. This team up 15-4. It was a position player on the mound for the Twins who lobbed a 47-mile-an-hour pitch up to the plate, and he smacked it out more than 400 feet. And Tony La Russa, this is where I think this has got to be completely disingenuous. La Russa claims he was up onto the field a couple of steps telling Mercedes not to swing on the 3-0 pitch. First of all, I don't buy that you're out on the field telling your guy not to swing on 3-0. And then that makes me love him even more. If he just looked his coach in the face and said, all right, coach, and then saw the meatball float over the plate and then launch it 400 feet. Again, respecting the game, I'm all for. And that's where I don't understand La Russa's comments after the game, where he heard that Yermin Mercedes says, I'm Yermin, and this is who I am, and this is what got me here. This is why you're talking to me, media. I got to be me. And then La Russa says, I heard he said that, and it's like, no, he's not just him. He's playing Major League Baseball. He has to respect the game. Hal taking a 3-0 pitch, up 15-4 in the ninth inning when a position player is on the mound. How's that respecting the game? What does that have to do with respect?
Well,
Anybody.
La Russa's exact quote, and this is just kind of funny to me because part of this is just funny to me. And Tony La Russa is a guy that Tim, you and I have grown up watching manage from the Oakland A's to the St. Louis Cardinals to now the Chicago White Sox. And again, he's got a very good team. If people aren't paying attention, this team's first in the AL Central, and they're good, man. The White Sox are good. But La Russa says, I took several steps from the dugout onto the field yelling, take, take, take. The way he was set up, it looked to me like he was going to swing.
What, he was in a batting stance? Is that what he
Yeah, I don't know what that's like. There's so many things about this where it's the old school baseball mentality. And I think this is personal opinion. I think it's a generational thing where younger people, this is why baseball is falling further and further down the chart there of sports that we follow, because what it sounds like is La Russa wanted him to go up with the bat on his shoulder, just stand there nonchalantly, almost like maybe just hold the bat with one hand, put his other hand down, and just completely ignore what was about to happen. And he says, well, he looks like he was about to swing, so I'm yelling, take, take, take. Well, I don't know. I don't know where.
No, wait. What about this? This might be the worst take of the morning from Todd. Just another example of another spoiled, overpaid professional athlete who can't follow orders, doesn't have respect for the game. It's all about me, me, me. Patrick, do you want to go through this particular professional athlete's background at 28 years old, being a rookie in Major League Baseball, happens to be leading his team in hitting?
Yeah, he's been in the minors for the last 10 years. He's played 2 seasons single A, 3 seasons high A, 2 seasons double A, a season of triple A, and then 3 seasons in the foreign rookie league. He makes $570,000. He's nowhere close to the highest paid person on his team. I can actually look up the White Sox salary page, but he's a 28-year-old rookie that's been basically scrapping for the last decade trying to make it to the show. And it's his first full season in the league. He played 1 game last year. And I don't even know if he got an at-bat, but yeah, bad take. Wrong guy.
From the Dominican Republic, where they're known for their growing up in opulence and being spoiled, right?
He makes less than the guys at Alabama.
There's a shot.
That's a good point. Definitely a football player.
We'll go out on that shot here.
Basketball. The basketball is trying to keep up with the Jimmies and the Joes out there. Basketball might have upped their ante a little bit.
It's the early game. It's 107.5 the game.
Big weekend, temperatures rising, big baseball series, great sports really around the thing. One of the things that also you might have planned is doing a little house hunting or considering refinancing your existing mortgage payment, because while the temperature is rising, the interest rate's still staying low. Now's a good time. You don't want to miss a golden opportunity. That's why you need to get in touch with Jacob Crowder, the mortgage guru. with First Palmetto Bank. He's helping people save on their existing mortgage by refinancing $200, $300, $400 a month. Think about what you can do with that kind of money. He's had so many people that have needed some help that want to refinance. He's brought on Brian Kovar to the Mortgage Guru team so they can help more homeowners and new home buyers. Don't miss this great opportunity. Give Jacob a call today, 803-719-1005. That's his cell phone. That means even at 649, you can send him a text message. He'll be ready to help you and your family find out what you can get pre-approved for and start the process. That phone number again, 803-719-1005. You can email him to letter J Crowder, CROWDER at firstpalmetto.com. Don't miss the opportunity. Give him a call today. He's Jacob Crowder, the mortgage guru with First Palmetto Bank. There we go. How we coming?
So the NBA stunk last night.
Yeah, I'm probably more disenchanted by the NBA than I've ever been in my life right now. Good job, Todd.
Did he come back?
Yeah, he said he only makes. Oh, I knew people were going to have that response. He only makes $500,000.
Unreal. And he's been making less than the poverty line for 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, his whole life, he's been below the poverty line until this year.
Although Todd is the only person that's not been on our side this whole morning. So
No, that there is the you got
Endeavor,
you're saying.
what Gene said.
Yeah.
I just remember the manager is just basically saying, listen to the boss no matter what the boss says. Oh, Tim, did you see you mentioned the women's golf thing, right? I was not paying attention, but that's what you brought up, right, in the first segment?
The women's golf thing, yeah.
Did you see what's happening now?
Yeah, Barstool.
Barstool thing? Yeah, all of
Yeah.
them are out. All of them are going to play.
Unbelievable. Good for
They did
them.
that.
Get up the money at least.
Yeah, and good for the NCAA for actually agreeing to it. I didn't think they would. I thought the NCAA would just say,
Right.
nah, sorry, can't do it. But it starts this week. It starts tomorrow.
Oh, I'll be watching every shot.
I don't know if it'll be televised, but
Wait, I tuned out on when you went to the women's golf thing again. What?
Oh,
Barstool-
Barstool. Go ahead.
oh yeah, Barstool immediately put together a tournament and got sponsors to pay for the team's travel and hotels and all that. So all of the teams that got their seasons cut short in Baton Rouge are now getting flown out on Barstool's dime to do a tournament, and they're all going to compete in a tournament, however many teams.
That's crazy.
Yeah, in Arizona.
I wonder how legal that is. I guess it was just like a sponsor tournament. Man,
They went through the NCAA. They went through the NCAA.
Oh, did they?
So it's actually sanctioned and all that stuff.
Was
It's called the Let Them Play tournament.
Was Portnoy personally behind that, or just his team?
They have a golf podcast called Foreplay, and I think it was those guys that were the.
Dude,
But
the
I'm
way
sure
they
he had to give his blessing.
the way they do things, the way Portnoy does things in Barstool, the next 10 years they could become one of the biggest, I guess, media providers for sports? Because that's amazing that they were able to do that.
I think they're already the biggest sports podcast network in the world.
Are they?
Yeah.
But I think Bill's just saying they could actually compete with the big boys.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think they could because they've
ways
done,
they are
done
doing
stuff
now.
to like really give back.
Well, because I mean, the only thing that people care about ESPN for now, in large majority, is live sports. Like that's honestly the only thing that most of the networks have going for them at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's why ESPN's paying billions of dollars to maintain the rights for every sports league that they can get their hands on, because
We're about
the
10
only way
back
people are
in,
going to keep.
and you're going to have about a minute.
About not much.
Yeah. Guys are up.
This is so huge, Craig says. We've waited more than a year for this thing to be opened back up. We were in a scary place this time last year. And that's my conclusion for hour number one this morning. We've gotten to a place where Gamecock fans can fill Founders Park coming up in the last regular season series
45.
of the year, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And we're into full-fledged sports talk radio where we're not apologizing for just discussing and getting passionate about our sports hot takes. It's a good morning, Bill.
30.
Yeah, got everything going. I got to take the kids to school real quick and then come back and join you guys and keep it rolling. Lots of fun stuff to talk about this morning.
Patrick hasn't been overly bitter. At least he hasn't been unleashed. He hasn't unleashed that yet. I feel like it might be coming, though, in hour number two.
It shouldn't be.
15.
It was a good night of playoff hockey for him. Wasn't it?
Capitals didn't play and the Wizards lost. So.
No, but I mean, like, it was a good night of playoff hockey, and you just said you're all in on playoff hockey. Get happy, Patrick. Good Lord.
WKTFM.
It's like talking to the Grinch. Even when you set him up with good playoff hockey, he points out the Wizards lost.
I didn't watch playoff hockey yesterday. The Wizards were flying.
All right, I'll be back. Let me get these kids to school. I'll be listening.
Good luck. Sorry, just doing some business stuff here, guys. We got their old man hot take from Chavo. Glad for the players, but who outside of the players and their families?
Really not the point at all, though. The girls that had their season cut short care that they get to play golf one more time. And that's basically the whole point of it. They got sponsors to pay for it.
Right, but who does it hurt? It doesn't hurt anybody.
It's only a good thing, yeah.
And clearly enough people outside of players and families cared to make it happen.
I don't think I have any lighting inconsistencies in my room. I think this is definitely a StreamYard thing. My camera.
How could it be just yours though?
Well, it's like something about StreamYard's not able to connect to the exterior camera. Because this has instructions for like Skype and Zoom, but nothing about StreamYard. And the camera's never flickered when I'm just in my camera app.
All right. Sorry, I had to get something straightened out on the text line there.
Did Bill break it?
No, I think some of our coworkers might actually start using it how it's meant to be used.
Oh.
That would be
Like reading it?
cool. No, not those coworkers.
Oh.
Sorry, David. We're good. We're good now. Just doing a little work there. All right, all three breaks here, Patrick. Jen, let's start with Clark on capacity, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the caller is still there.
Gotcha. That's Scott.
Got.
Okay. And would like to get to the home run call pretty quickly here, too. Cool.
Okay.
Was my goal at the beginning of the year is 20, and I feel like I have more in me. And it feels great to be, with those guys and swinging it the way I am, and I continuing it through the rest of the year and through postseason.
That's Wes Clark, Gamecock slugger, with his 20th home run last night in the 2-0 win against Appalachian State. Here's a little bit of how it sounded on the call here on 107.5 The Game with Derek Scott.
Breaking ball swung on and lifted to deep left field, and there is zero doubt where this one ends up. Back of the Appalachian State bullpen.
Learfield IMG College broadcast. There you heard Derek almost giggling in the middle of that one, or laughing. It was such a no-doubter. Impressive stuff, but the headline, not necessarily Clark hitting home runs, which we've seen him do a bunch, and the Gamecocks winning games, which they've now done a bunch, but actually yesterday that USC announced 100% capacity is the opportunity. They're opening things up for Founders Park this weekend. Actually wanted to let you hear exactly what Wes Clark had to say about that. Man, he was all smiles on the video portion of this comment, but you can hear him smiling through how he's talking about it as well. The chance to have a full Founders Park against Tennessee starting tomorrow.
Oh, it's so exciting. I can't wait to see, all the fans in here just really cheering us on and getting loud, and everyone on the team is just so excited for full capacity. That's something we've been waiting for all season, and we finally got it. So, they're going to help us. They're going to be our 10th player out there on the field, and we're just excited.
And I think a lot of Gamecock fans are as well, and they should be. Patrick, just sitting here after talking about it for the first hour, and we didn't even talk about that much. I think maybe because we've taken it for granted a little bit that this was coming. We've seen other parks do it. The Braves did this, kind of I feel like the first ones in major professional sports to open things up. And we've seen SEC venues follow. We saw Founders Park open from it was a quarter, it was 25%. It was expanded to 50, and now it's up to 100, and clearly moving in the right direction. But to have this back before this regular season ended with where we were this time last year and the whole thing, I think appreciation is just the right word, the right feeling that I have right now, a newfound appreciation for a privilege or the opportunity just to have a full crowd in the stands for a college baseball game, a college baseball series that should be exciting and have some serious postseason implications. That's where I'm at this morning. What about you?
Well, yeah, it's super exciting because as a fan, you look around and you see, I think the Texas Rangers were the first one to open up the full capacity, and you look at them having a great time and you're a little bit jealous. And just in hockey the other day, the Hurricanes had a full crowd and it was an electric environment, and I was super jealous of the fans that got to watch some playoff hockey live in that environment. And now it's finally come to Columbia, and I don't know which day is going to be the most packed. It could be Thursday night because everyone wants to be there for the first night that you can fill up Founders Park. Maybe it'll be Friday night because Friday night baseball is the biggest thing down here, or maybe it's Saturday because it's like a nice Saturday afternoon, and that's what baseball should be, just a nice afternoon game. Either way, it's going to be amazing. And also, I know they had said we plan on full capacity for football games, but if you are getting to baseball full capacity in May, I think that pretty much makes everyone that much more confident that it's not just talk, and we will have Williams-Brice full for the fall. And I mean, that's, I think, for most people the most important thing, because that environment can't be beaten, and it's just really exciting. A couple months away. I don't know if everyone if they did they end up selling all of the spring game tickets that they had offered?
No, I don't think they did.
Okay.
And what you said was, about the plan for the fall. And I think where I've gotten to, at least in all of this stuff in the last 14 months, whatever it's been, is that I don't put a lot of stock into what I hear as plans or like the projected route, or because I remember
gotten pushed back.
Yeah, this was originally the original plan was 4 to 6 weeks. We'll be back to how things used to be, or whatever it was, man. But to see things happen, and from the college baseball standpoint, as you were going through some other examples, it dawned on me, it was that Mississippi State Ole Miss series several weeks ago now, where it was full capacity, and you had as intense as it could be, but the fact that everyone could be there. This goes beyond just college baseball and the SEC and the whole thing. This is life, man. And I feel like I got a taste of it if you were at the Carolina-Arkansas game number 2 of that series. And this is the first time it was opened up to just 50%. And Carolina won that game, and they really got things rolling. And it was just being in that environment where people were excited and happy. And I don't think there was any talk at that time, or I certainly wasn't thinking about social distancing or wearing a mask or everything that life has entailed in the last year plus. I was able to, that feeling was gone. I was obviously in the back of the mind, but just was able to have that feeling of being in the sports environment again. And at the time, I didn't realize what kind of an effect that would have on me, just looking around and the feel. It was so nice. And I think it's one of those things that you don't realize what it is until it's gone. And now that it's coming back, just excited for a lot of people out there who will get to experience that starting Thursday night and hopefully continue to experience that more and more in the future. 803-404-6100 is the number into the program. Gamecock baseball, obviously a big topic. Craig started us off this morning talking about how huge it was for Founders Park to be able to get the chance to be at 100% capacity, and then he comes back with who started pitching last night. It was C.J. Weens who went for the Gamecocks, who helped get things going for a shutout. And 2-0 the final score. If you just look at the box score, maybe you're not that impressed against Appalachian State, but the important part for Carolina, you don't slip up. You don't lose any momentum. You gave up 3 hits in the combined shutout last night. Wes Clark hit his 20th home run of the season, now tied for that National League going into the last regular season series of the year. You're in contention to host for an NCAA regional. That's what you're looking for. Weens, John Gilreath, Daniel Lloyd, and Will Sanders all combining for that shutout last night. Weens went 4 scoreless there, did not give up a hit, walked 2, struck out 6 if you're a numbers person this morning. If you're more of a spirit of baseball person this morning, that's what a lot of hour number 1 was about. It's this Major League Baseball deal, which is one of the oddest things I've seen. By the way, speaking of odd, if you were watching the Major League Baseball Network last night, they're making the transition from like the early evening crew to the later evening crew, and they did it, and the late evening crew did not realize they were on yet, and they were working blue for a little bit. Dan Plesac, the former major leaguer, I had to rewind it because I just had it on kind of in the background, and I was paying attention to the post-game comments or trying to make sure I was dialed in for Gamecock baseball, and I heard it in the background. I was like, wait a second, this isn't, I don't have the internet app through the TV thing going right now. This is not the unplugged version or the unedited that went back. Like, oh, yep, okay, this is what they were doing.
How bad was it?
It was as interesting as it could be. Let's put it that way.
It would not have. They should have pressed the dump button.
Oh yeah, a couple of times. Oh yeah.
Interesting.
But I mean, it was just from a baseball perspective. It wasn't anything that got outside the lines or anything like that. It sounded like, I think, how people talk in a dugout or maybe in the stands. I think some people have called it locker room talk, but that was a whole separate deal, and we won't get into that.
Gotta know whenever you're wearing a mic,
right?
Or around a mic.
That was interesting.
Gotta watch your mouth.
I'm glad that we've taught you something in your 25 years now. You sound like a very, very experienced, wise, grizzled veteran. And that's what 76-year-old Chicago White Sox manager Tony La Russa is. And then some. When he got hired for the Chicago White Sox, this is his first year with the White Sox, and getting hired as a 76-year-old. Incredible. La Russa, tremendous background and experience in the game. He was the Bash Brothers manager with me growing up. That's how I came to know Tony La Russa. Obviously, then plenty of years of success with the St. Louis Cardinals after that, and now coming back into baseball this year. This seems to be an old school versus new school debate where it's not the typical one in baseball, because typically, Patrick, if someone does anything about an unwritten rule in baseball, you always hear the other side of it. It's the other team calling them out, right? Typically the other team's manager. But this time, it was a Chicago White Sox 28-year-old rookie from the Dominican Republic, Yermin Mercedes, who's leading the team in hitting. Monday night, his team was up 15-4. It was in the 9th inning, and he's up at the plate, and there's 2 outs in the game. It's a 3-0 count. The Minnesota Twins are losing. They're out of it. They're throwing a position player on the mound. The guy just trying to throw a strike in there, lobs a 47-mile-an-hour pitch right over the heart, and Mercedes cranks it 400 feet for a home run. And after the game, he says, that's just me. He's asked if that, you're worried about breaking any kind of unwritten rules in baseball. And that's who I am. That's why I'm here. That's why you guys are talking to me. That's who I got to be. And his manager goes the complete other way. Says, yep, he's young. He's going to learn this game. It's not just all about playing for you. You're playing Major League Baseball. You need to respect the game. I need the explanation. If you're on that side of it, and most of you aren't, most of you, this is a rare one, Patrick, where you, me, Bill, all agree that is just ridiculous, old school, unwritten rules baseball that I thought we were evolving out of. Fernando Tatis Jr., I think, helping to lead the charge. That baseball can be fun. You don't have to follow the dumb, unwritten rules. Now, some of you have said, hey, he ignored the manager. That's something you can't do in sports. It was 3-0. The ridiculous quote from La Russa is, I was out a couple of steps onto the grass telling him to take because it looked like he was going to swing, which is weird, one of the weirdest comments I've ever heard, right? So it wasn't some kind of secret sign. He was just yelling, take. I hope that's the case, and I hope Mercedes just looked at him and gave him the old cool guy nod, like, all right, yeah, and then just proceeded to plant one 400-plus feet over. But I need you. I guess I get that to a certain degree, right? You should do what your coach tells you. And that is Little League 101, right? I was out watching the big coach pitch championship in the local league last night with my 8 and 6-year-old, trying to show him like how some teams win and maybe they'll try to win a little bit more. But when you're 8 years old, I get it. When you're 28 and you fought your way to the major leagues in the last 10 grueling years through about how many teams did you list? Any idea, Patrick? That'd be at least 20.
It was 11 minor league teams and then a couple foreign teams
right.
as well.
You fought your way there, and the other team's throwing a position guy. First of all, to me, that's more of the disrespect of the game than anything else. You're just trying to get through it. I mean, I don't blame you, right? It's not a bad managerial move. You don't want to waste pitchers. You don't have a chance, but you have given up. That is waving the white flag, right? That scene, Jen, between the Cubs and the Braves a couple of weeks ago, I guess it is now, Anthony Rizzo striking out Freddie Freeman. Everybody was laughing. That was great. Who didn't like that?
I mean, it was, yeah.
Was Freddie Freeman mad because Anthony Rizzo tried to strike him out and embarrassed him and the whole thing? Like, that would be an old school, hard-nosed baseball approach, I guess. Like, oh, I can't believe they're throwing position players. What a disgrace to the game. No.
But still, it's a fun game. And you should be able to have a few of those when you're in a situation of literally no win.
It's a kid's game, man.
Absolutely.
If you want to be the Twins and you'd say, oh, you embarrassed us and it was disrespectful. And last night the Twins threw at this guy. Relief pitcher comes into the 7th inning. An actual relief pitcher came in for the Twins because it was a close game and they actually came back from a 4-0 deficit and won the game. But he threw behind Mercedes, so he got thrown out of the game.
Why did it take till the 7th inning?
Well, the starting pitcher who was lined up there, you don't want him to get chucked out of the game and screw up the whole pitching rotation. That was the whole point of putting the position guys in to begin with. But the fact that your own coach is against you here and really against public perception at this point. I mean, normally I feel like those of us on the outside are pro-coach and pro-discipline, and you got to fall in line and know your place and the whole thing, but I just don't see it in this instance. Man,
Isn't it also part of like locker room sort of code to handle things in-house and not like bash your guys to the media or say that they did something like completely disobeyed you? Like, handle it in-house. I mean, I guess people that watch Steve Spurrier for years kind of understand the other side of that, but for the most part, that's really not how you do it.
Yeah, but and Eddie just says, I say in the spirit of Steve Spurrier, I say swing away. Spurrier was always that guy like, hey, yeah, I'm not coaching the defense. Not my job to stop my offense. But with Tony La Russa at 76 years old,
the third oldest manager in baseball history, by the way.
he feels like he has plenty of track record. He can kind of say whatever he wants. His way goes. And now you have your best hitter against your manager on a really good team. Chicago White Sox leading the division there over in the AL Central. Fascinating. We're going to talk some PGA Championship golf, get our picks out, teeing it up tomorrow. The tee times are out as of yesterday. Some really good groups to follow for sure down at Kiowa Island. First time since 2012 when Rory won it. Of course, what was it, 91? They got going with the Ryder Cup down at the Ocean Course, so that's going to be a blast to talk about today. We got controversy from college basketball perspective. Former Wake Forest head coach Dino Gaudio. Bill considered him a friend back in the day. Assistant coach at Louisville has now been arrested on extortion charges because he dared to point out when Louisville tried to get rid of him that, hey, I've seen some recruiting violation. I got some evidence of stuff. So they're calling it extortion now. Unbelievable. What a place we're in. But it's a much more sports talky place, I think, than we've been in the last 14, 15 months, and I'm happy that you're here with us. Love to hear from you. We see you again waiting on the Love Chevrolet phone lines. Get to your calls when we come back. 803-404-6100. You can also text that same number. It's the early game here on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game. The game is on. Everywhere. On the air, online, on your phone or tablet, on the app, Alexa, in the shower with you.
And from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. Shepherd'sGlass.com. Still no major tie-ups to speak of. I-77 southbound at Bluff Road, the exit ramp is currently blocked. Might see a spotty shower or two today. Definitely not a washout. 83 for the high, 86 tomorrow, up to almost 90 on Friday. Right now, it's clear, very nice, and 63 at 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. Whether it's offering curbside or next-day delivery for online orders on over 160,000 parts or getting involved in their local communities, when it comes to serving you, Napa's motor never quits. That's Napa know-how.
Hey, I'm Roy Finley.
And I'm Dana Finley, owners of AAA Heating and Air.
If your unit's living on borrowed time, replace it now with AAA.
Thank you. That was the unplug sign you were giving me?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear you talking.
Yeah, I just switched over to the program audio. My bad.
Yeah. Wait, so could I be heard through that? I think, right?
Yeah. When you're unmuted, I think you can be heard on your mic. I had muted you at one point in there, and then I unmuted you. I thought we were back on the regular laptop audio. My bad. But I put you on mute when I take the program one, so you don't get the echo, the double
sound. Yeah.
That's what I need to do. One more thing here. I think we should. Oh, great one.
What?
Last text. Love it.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you about that guy later.
Oh, we have to go off the air for that guy?
Yeah, very much so.
Love it. So that was just over the weekend, right? Peters didn't get in last night, Jan. I didn't pay attention to the velocity at Kentucky, but clearly the coaching staff put him in like they normally have. Yeah, they're going to need him at his best, man, without the option of carry. Yeah, Bill, baseball's a funny game, man.
I have to stop watching food videos.
What's that?
I have to stop watching food videos. I'm watching the most awarded burger ever, a YouTube video, because I have to watch things without volume. So it's either highlights, like tours of like giant houses or like yachts or like just crazy things like that, or just food videos. And now I'm starving.
I'm going to go old man on you as I sit in my garage looking at nothing. You don't have to have it on.
I want something on. Animal fights.
Sorry, we're heading back in.
Can we do Kingston on capacity here, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
Straight in.
Yeah, straight in.
Get your waters, stay hydrated, but it should be a good old-fashioned SEC series where there's a lot on the line, a lot of emotion, and I hope to see no empty seats in Founders Park. I know love big games in Founders Park, so just can't wait to see it.
And now 100% capacity is available for the first time in a long, long time in any sporting event for Gamecock Athletics this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. 7 o'clock start times Thursday, Friday, noon on Saturday. And 9 a.m. this morning, I believe, tickets go on sale to season ticket holders first. Then 11 a.m. this morning, things open up to Gamecock Club members. And it's tomorrow at 10 a.m., I believe, general public can call the ticket office and get your tickets. We've seen it started at 25% capacity, I think. That was expanded, that Arkansas series, for 50% capacity. And I've mentioned it a couple of times. I know at least once this morning, I think yesterday as well, just how good it felt to be in Founders Park when it was 50% capacity and the Gamecocks came back and won that game 2 of the Arkansas series and got things rolling. And it felt like sports. Even as I'm talking about it now, man, it's getting the good feeling that, to me, only sports in person can bring. When you're experiencing something with thousands of people. And Patrick, maybe it's that weird sense of pride that we all have that's ingrained in us, that somehow we think we're helping it happen. Is that what it is that makes that feeling unique or stand out to us so much? Because we know fans have some impact on the game, and make no mistake about it. That's one of the reasons Mark Kingston's putting it out there. He knows it can have a positive effect on his team. Phil mentioned the comment from Tennessee coach Tony Vitello about this. He was asked yesterday, he says, he thinks the Gamecocks have as good a chance to go to Omaha as about anybody out there, and he knows the fans especially it'll be making a tough environment for his team coming in. But that's what the opposing coach is supposed to say, right? The head coach is supposed to encourage the home fans to get out there and to have as much of an impact on the home field advantage as possible. But this, to me, feels just a little different and maybe more special than that typical lip service, because it's the first time in 14 months And there is so much on the line for Gamecock baseball with the opportunity to still host an NCAA regional and really improve their odds to move on in the college baseball postseason.
Yeah, I think it just adds to the magnitude of the game too. Like it just makes it feel bigger. Like if you're playing a midweek game against a
major
major
low-level team, the stadium might not be filled on a normal night, but when you're playing against a top 5 opponent and the Founders Park is completely packed, you can feel how important that game is.
It's just like in Williams-Brice, if you play Akron on
a noon Saturday game, the stadium might not be filled, but when you play Georgia at 7 p.m., the stadium's going to be filled, and you can tell how big the atmosphere is. So that's the most important thing for fans for me. Like watching playoff basketball with 2,000 people in the arena, it just doesn't feel that important. Like it adds to it when you have a fully packed, loud arena that's hanging on every single play. Like, and that's how it's going to be this weekend. I mean, it's impossible for us to know exactly what's riding on this series, but having the opportunity to host a regional certainly seems like it's still on the board or on the table. So yeah, I mean, a fully packed stadium, 2 night games. Every pitch is going to matter. A top 5 team. Is Tennessee number 3 or 4? Are they still number 4? I thought they were. I don't
4
know what they are at this
I'll
point.
check for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they jumped up or down, but I mean, it was a 1 to 2 series. All
they lost
1-run games.
The rubber match by a run to the number 1 team in the country, and just gave them everything they could.
So it's just going to feel important. I mean, it's the perfect timing too, heading into maybe the most important series of the year at this point. I'm just so pumped, and it's just a great sign. We've been waiting for just that one. I don't know if everyone thought that it was going to be like, hey, flip a switch, the world is open again. But we always knew that we were going to have to kind of ease back into it, and going from 10 or 15% or whatever it is to 50% and now 100%. I mean, this is the best sign that we've had in well over a year now. I think 14 months, you said. So, I mean, it couldn't be more exciting.
I'm with you on that. This baseball thing couldn't be more, the Major League Baseball thing I'm talking about now couldn't be more the opposite of that. It's so odd in so many ways. And I am looking now just to confirm Tennessee is still number 4. Arkansas still number 1 in the D1Baseball.com poll. Vanderbilt dropped from 2 to 3 because Texas is in there. So for those of you keeping score at home, now it will be 1 through 4 that the Gamecocks have played series against in the current rankings. The number 9 team in the country, Florida, Carolina has a sweep over. Mississippi State all the way down at number 10. Ole Miss up to 13. Just some of the teams that Carolina has played. And if you're one of those teams, the Gamecocks at 21, by the way, and I think, 11 in the RPI or something like that. If you're one of those fans that has been disappointed this year, having seen the Gamecocks drop 3 series in a row and six straight SEC games before bouncing back to win that series finale against Mississippi State and then coming up with a big sweep at Kentucky over the weekend. I get it. Gamecock baseball is supposed to be amongst the best. This year, it has been odd, I think, in a lot of ways. This team has been just odd. That's just what it is. You win 11 games to start, then you would lose 6 straight, then you go on a win streak, then you go on a losing streak. It's been up and down, no doubt about it. And the emotional roller coaster, I get it if that's how you've seen the season, but I think you do have to admit, even if you're the most cynical, pessimistic fan out there, and maybe I'm just paying too much attention to trolls on the text line and the whole deal. You got to admit, this team is much closer to those really, really good teams than they are to what some of the Gamecock teams in the years past here, the recent past, the disappointing teams I'm talking about have been. Another chance to solidify a really solid season. Not going to finish below 500 in conference play. Got a chance to finish 18-12 going into this weekend, 15-12 in conference play. 803-404-6100, the number of the program. Anonymous texter just hit us up, says, I know you probably just mentioned this, but I just jumped in the car. When do tickets go on sale for the general public for Founders Park? Let me double check again the time. It is tomorrow, day of the game. But this was announced yesterday. The order will be season ticket holders for baseball today at 9 a.m. That's when you can buy your tickets. 11 a.m. this morning if you're a Gamecock Club member. And then 10 o'clock tomorrow. Any remaining tickets made available to the general public. And again, I will encourage all of you out there, if you want to go to the baseball game on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, and you don't have a ticket, don't let that stop you from going. You can go, and it's not going to be overly expensive to get into Founders Park. And man, what a great time to celebrate the opportunity to do that. And that just happens to coincide with an important baseball series, one of the best baseball teams this year in Tennessee coming in, and the Gamecocks with the chance to make its biggest statement of the year. I mentioned that Florida was ranked number 9. That's been the biggest statement so far, sweeping Florida. You can win the Tennessee series when it matters the most like this, then I think that might even supersede it, might move it out of the way and say, hey, this is exactly what the team needed. Because I think Kentucky is a close second right now, sweeping on the road at Kentucky for the first time since 2002, right behind the best that this team has been this year. Got to put the back-to-back walk-off wins against Clemson early on right there, maybe the third best accomplishment. That's how I'm seeing it in my head anyway. Right now, we got to take a quick break, continue to talk plenty of Gamecock baseball and that Chicago White Sox 3-0. Should you swing when you're up 11 runs? Your manager says no. Players say yes. Even opposing players say yes. It's a bit of a mess. It's the early game, just like our show. A bit of a mess on 107.5 The Game.
It's a new year.
They're hungry. They're driven.
In a new attitude.
I want guys that want to be here, not just going out there to hire some guy that has a famous last name.
It's not some retreads. We're a bunch of guys that I think are ready to prove to people that we can do some special things here.
New attitude.
I do believe that things are always meant to be.
Welcome home.
My parents went to school here. This is it. There's no other job in the country I would have left for. But to be right here.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Great time to be a Gamecock fan. Get out for the first time in a while. Maybe you're seeing things a little differently these days. Last night I was at 3 o'clock awakened by some crying and a bit of a mess upstairs with the 1+-year-old. So that reminded me that I just need some help around our house. Fortunately, we've had it with Zero Res carpet and air duct cleaning. A couple of times they've been out to my house, done a great job cleaning my carpets, cleaning an area rug for us, freshened up the tiles in both the kitchen and the bathroom. And with a 13-month-old or so, he's getting on up there, and I'm going to stop calling it months. I don't want to be that guy. And you got a 6 and 8-year-old at my house. Things are always messy. So we need to have the help. We also felt really good about Zero Res helping us out because they have a patented powered water system, no harsh chemicals involved in the cleaning process, especially important to us. Also, no leftover soapy residue. So my carpets have stayed cleaner longer. And man, I know all about the carpets and floors at my house these days with that 1-year-old. Still picks up everything, puts it in his mouth. We're still in that phase. I'll let you know when it's over and I'll be celebrating. But right now, I need to let you know that Zero Res has a great deal for you. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned, only $119 plus a free hallway when you mention me, Tim Hill. ZeroResColumbia.com, the place to book your appointment online. Give them a call at 803-262-4020. That's Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
There. From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass.
Is that a lacrosse shirt I'm looking at, Patrick?
What?
Is that a lacrosse shirt I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Impressive. What kind of lacrosse gear is popular these days? What kind of company makes money off a lacrosse shirt is my question.
Well, the biggest lacrosse companies are STX and Warrior. Warrior's really big in lacrosse and hockey. Nike has made gear. Their gear's not great. Under Armour tried. Their gear's not great either. It's pretty much STX and Warrior that run the lacrosse world. But Nike does have makes most of the uniforms. They have cool uniforms.
No Easton? Easton's not in on sticks?
No, Easton made sticks for a little bit. Easton actually bought a company that made wooden sticks, which was cool. I have one. Is my wooden stick in here?
College fund. That's hilarious, Clemson Sean.
I'm very excited the Caps are playing at 6:30 tonight.
Good old man time for you?
Yeah, because 7:30 puts it too close. I basically have to dip out before the last 6 or 7 minutes, and I left with a 3-2 lead, got to work when overtime was starting, turned it on, and I think we gave up the overtime goal in 37 seconds. It's not ideal. I left when I was feeling like $1 million, got to work feeling terrible. There's also a regular season hockey game going on tonight that they still have to wrap up.
Why?
Draft position. It's the only reason. It's only on ESPN Plus too. Just no one cares. They've played 2 games now since the playoffs have started. These 2 Canadian teams.
Well, I'm glad we're at a place where we can complain about that.
Yeah.
Truly.
Oh, there he is. How was it?
Speaking of complaining.
We all arrived at the school at the same time. That was quite a line going through there.
Well, I think everyone waits until they hear that you're leaving on the live stream, and then they head on.
That is very true. I think everybody times it out perfectly so they can see me drop off the kids.
That's it.
Yeah, it was. I think all we need to do that. I was telling the kids, Memorial Day, I have on Memorial Day, but there's no school. So it'll be next Wednesday, and I think the following Wednesday, and I think that's it.
Oh, wow. So you need to be a more of an efficiency parent when it comes to dropping off. School started at 7:40, and I would pretty much make sure that he got a little exercise getting in, because we would get there at about 7:38, and that way the line isn't quite so long. He gets a little exercise. I mean, it was kind of a win-win. So.
Well, 7:30 allows them to get in, and if they didn't get enough to eat here, they get, because I guess they get free breakfast now.
Oh, wow.
They go in, every kid gets a free, something. And there you go. Yep, Twig, Langston Middle School. But so they get there. That gives them a chance, because they start at 7:45, so they got 15 minutes to get in and get settled.
That's still too early.
Well, then watch. Well, never mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we could switch, but no.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Kwame Brown?
I heard somebody talking about him. What did he do?
Gotta talk about it in a bit, because we're heading back in.
Ask me in the next break and Google it.
Gamecock Larry is still on hold. You guys are up.
The possibility of a sold-out stadium. I was just trying to do this in my head. Bill, when's the last time you've been to a sold-out game? Take your time. It's going to take a while, I think. Patrick, what about you? I don't know. My answer is I don't know.
Well, technically, a sold-out game. I would.
Sold-out game.
I mean, you mean a full capacity game that was sold out? I think the South Carolina Tennessee football game might have been technically sold out to
a full sold out.
There you go.
That make you feel better. 100% of the tickets were sold.
It would be whatever the last. I'm trying to pull back up South Carolina's football schedule from the last few years very quickly here. It would be whatever that is. I think
that happened.
I don't. That's what I'm just trying to think. In Alabama, you think it was sold out? Helinski's start against Alabama. That's the best I can do.
Yeah, I think you're right. So, how long are we talking then?
That was the 3rd week of September in 2019. I don't think in 2019. I went to some basketball games. I'd have to look at the 2019 basketball season and look at what there was any. But we know how tough it is just to sell out Colonial Life Arena to begin with, right. Let alone, if they're having a bit of a rough year. They were doing good that year. They were 18-13 going to the SEC tournament. I don't know if there was a sold out game. So I would say that it was the Alabama football game is going to be my guess back on whatever weekend that was in 2019.
I think mine was Tennessee 2018.
Was that a season opener? It wasn't, was it?
No, it was. This was a weekend before Halloween.
And that was the low scoring one where
it was 27-24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Gamecocks got the win in that one, correct?
Yeah. Wait, was that was later than Tennessee.
Yeah, play that game in your own head. I would love to hear when the last time you've been to one, not just from a Gamecock perspective. I mean, this is across the board. I think it's difficult to come up with that. Bill, you're talking about basketball. The last real kind of charged environment I remember being in from that standpoint was senior night for Mike Kotzar, Mississippi State at the Colonial Life Arena.
Yeah.
Technically a sellout.
Number one Tennessee was probably the last men's sellout, right?
Right. I think you're right.
Oh, that was several years ago. I'm going back through just looking at the 2019 schedule. I don't remember what games I went to. Like there's an overtime game against Georgia that was at home, the Mississippi State game. South Carolina beat Tennessee. I don't remember.
Actually,
way back into
the Joe Burrow SEC championship, last sellout I was at.
Ah, it's true. Yeah, you were there. Yeah, forgot about that.
Craig mentions, did the women play UConn at the CLA? That's been a sellout. Yeah, I think so. Season, but the year before that, I think Craig's right. That's probably the last Gamecock sporting event that sold out. And man, it's hard to imagine, right? Well, I mean, Bill, you're talking about 20. I think not being in that environment and the opportunity to be that. I get it at Founders Park this weekend. It will not be a full capacity Williams-Brice Stadium. Don't get me wrong, but just the opportunity now that could happen, and certainly Gamecock baseball welcoming that with open arms in a lot of ways. 803-404-6100 is the number into the program. The Chicago White Sox thing, these responses are hilarious to me. I think this is just people who want to be on the other side of that 3-0, do you got to swing kind of thing, or do you have to take in Major League Baseball when the Twins were throwing a position player? And I mentioned that Yermin Mercedes has fought his way to the major leagues at 28 years old and a rookie. Fought your way there. Shaking my head, LOL. Take the 3-0 pitch. Can't wait until it happens to your kid and see how you feel.
I'll tell my kid not to throw a 47-mile-per-hour meatball over the plate, man.
Wait. The theory here is if my kid is a position player in the major leagues who got called on to pitch in the ninth inning of a
that's also true.
I'm gonna be feeling really bad for my kid.
Also, a good point there. Like I'm gonna be like, I'll go back to and live off my kid for a little while if he's in Major League Baseball.
I just picture him Dumb and Dumber, like wiping my tears with $100 bills and throwing them my kid's money as a Major League Baseball position player.
And you know what I'll tell my kid? You know what I tell my kid afterwards? Hey, don't throw it over the plate 47 miles an hour. Throw it in the dirt and walk him intentionally.
I would tell him he threw faster than 47 miles an hour as a 12-year-old, I'm guessing. Those little leaguers can bring it at least 60, I think, and then they that adjusted miles per hour in that Little League World Series where it's like 90 if you're throwing 60 from the Little League mound. Oh. Again, just appreciative this morning.
Really bad take.
100% capacity, and the fact that we can get on each other like it's a sports talk radio show. We're in a great place on May 18th, 2021. It's the early game here on 107.5.
Oh, Super League Golf. Officials to meet with player managers in Milwaukee.
That's a good one, Chad. Strong. Should have laid down the drag bunt, walk to first, flipping them off while you're going. All right, who you got, Twig? How about we go one of the favorites and then somebody kind of off the board. That work for you guys?
What constitutes off the board? We
I
want
just
one.
and
We
we'll
do an
decide.
American and an international.
Yeah, but then you can just go two favorite picks. You know what I mean? I mean, if I go
Yeah.
Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, how fun is that?
So would that be like outside the top 15 or something like that?
It doesn't have to be a number. Just somebody that's a little off the beat,
Okay.
a little bit of a reach. Not one of the favorites. That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
So you take your winner, who you think's going to win, and then you take a guy who you think's going to make some noise for sure. That would be a bit of a surprise. Leishman and Cantlay. Whoa. That's strong, Craig.
I didn't look at tee times yesterday. I see where the last three major champs are playing together this Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, there's some good groups for sure. I'll mention some of those here.
I was seeing if there was. I was kind of listening to y'all, but I was trying to read. They've got this report right now. That I've got Golf Channel on Super League Golf officials to meet with player managers at Kiowa.
What's that?
I don't know. I don't see anything on ESPN, so I don't know if that's something that's popping up this morning or what this is. Again, I didn't watch a lot. I have had the TV on the golf on PGA coverage most of the week, but again, yesterday was Tomb Raider till 6:30, and then I was so tired that I flipped over to watch the baseball game at 7:00 on the SEC Network Plus, and it hadn't started, and I was really confused.
All right, I got some tee times for you.
Are we doing picks right here to end this hour?
No, we'll just set it up.
Okay.
You don't have to give actual names. We got another hour. Morning, Hope.
We do have a whole nother hour.
Now, see, I see what you're doing now, Steve. Now, Twig. Say two names, and you threw me out three. Come on.
It's my kind of pick 'em.
Has Jason Day won a major?
Great.
Yeah.
Master. I think he's won two.
He won the U.S. Open when DJ messed up that putt on 18. Where was that? Was that in Oregon, I think?
I thought Spieth won that one.
Did he really win the Masters?
Jason Day won the Masters.
Wow, I don't remember that at all.
Pretty positive. I might be making this up.
Yeah, I don't remember him winning a Masters, but I'm looking.
What's the one where he got vertigo and was like fell into the sand trap?
No, tied for second. He won the PGA in 2015.
Yeah, he's won a PGA championship. He tied for second at the Masters.
I'm a dumb.
It doesn't look like he's had a top 10 in a major since winning the PGA in 2015. Oh, wait. How is this broken down here? Does it have his... I don't understand what it's telling me here.
One of the favorites, someone who you think is going to win the thing, and then someone who you think is going to make some noise kind of outside the group of favorites. That's what we're going to be doing in hour number 3. 2 names is what we're looking for. Like, just got Justin Thomas and Jason Day. And then or Max Homa. Third name. I see what you're doing there. But yeah, like Justin Thomas, clearly one of the favorites going into the PGA Championship that tees off tomorrow down at Kiowa Island, the Ocean Course, and he's in a great group. Those announced yesterday. Justin Thomas playing with Rory McIlroy and Brooks Koepka, 8:33 tee time to be the headlining group. You got the other 3 reigning major champions also in the same group. Colin Morikawa, the defending PGA Championship champion, to be redundant. Reigning Masters champ Hideki Matsuyama and U.S. Open champ Bryson DeChambeau. Right after that group I just mentioned at 8:44. Dustin Johnson will be playing in the afternoon with former British Open winner Shane Lowry and Sergio Garcia, former Masters champ. 2:09 is when Dustin will go off in that group. And not playing his best golf, so not necessarily one of the favorites going into this thing. Had to pull out, I think, had some sort of injury issue. Was it a knee deal, Phil? Do you remember Dustin's deal here recently? One of the reasons why he's not being mentioned necessarily as the guy, even though this thing is playing, I think, maybe the longest any course has played or just the longest a PGA Championship has played. And then you combine that with the wind that can pop up on that ocean course. I've been fortunate to play it 2 times, and one time the wind was whipping, and that was like the longest day of golf in my life. It was, I had no chance, no chance at all.
Well, that's also why you're sitting here with Patrick, myself, and Jen this morning, and not out on a practice round down in Kiowa is because of that. Dustin last week.
I didn't have a chance when they were good conditions, but I didn't have a chance to find my ball most of the time.
Dustin, pulled out of the Byron Nelson last week. His comment was, unfortunately, the knee discomfort I occasionally experience has returned, and after consultation with my team and trainers, I feel it is best that I remain at home and focus on my rehabilitation work. That was last week, so he is down there, but he underwent surgery to repair cartilage damage in his left knee after the 2019 season, which has sidelined him. So that's kind of a lingering issue. And he really just has not been playing all that great here the last about 6-8 weeks, and some of that could have been because of the knee.
Great point, Jen. Guessing not. Things have changed. Maybe this is what we can get into. Jen's going old school golf approach, old school baseball approach. Hour number 3, we'll give you the new school approach here on the early game. On 175.
Be right back.
Whoa, that's crazy. Finau said the shortest iron he hit was a 5-iron. He probably hits a 5-iron, what, 215?
Yeah.
Probably more than that.
Yeah, I don't know where this wind came from. It was supposed to be nice and calm out here the last few days, and then yesterday, and I'm talking about here, so I wonder what it's like down there.
Okay, we'll see about that. I'd love to see it, man.
Jen, I figured out last night it was so windy. I was playing around that maybe people knew this. I mean, I just never knew it. That there's a buoy out by kind of over on the Chapin side that measures like wind temperature or wind speed, water temperature, all that stuff in Lake Murray that you can track.
Really?
On the app.
What app is that? That's cool.
There's a couple that I downloaded. The one I had last night was Buoycast, BUOY Cast. And then if you go to the like whatever it is, the national, I don't know. Let me see if I can pull it. What was it? LMFS1 is the name of that buoy, Lake Murray Buoy. Lake Murray FS1 buoy. If you pull it up this morning, it last measured at 710, but it's over by kind of Catfish Johnny's and everything. And so last night I was playing around. I figured out, knots versus miles per hour wind speed.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like this morning the wind is blowing east-northeast at 1 knot with gusts up to 3 knots.
Okay.
Learning all kinds of stuff.
What are you talking about?
There's just kind of like you would look if you were looking in the ocean, and with buoys in the ocean that measure water temperature, wind speed, and all that. There's one in Lake Murray that I was looking at last night that told me about what the temperatures are, but it's kind of across the lake from me.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting. Last night was an interesting night. Again, too tired to use the air fryer, so just laid there and ordered pizza.
That's pretty tired.
I was exhausted.
I've been I guess kind of similar to that, tracking my brother. He's on he's doing naval ROTC.
Oh really?
He's on like a 100-day cruise or something like that. Wow. Track his boat every day. He was in Cuba yesterday, going through between Cuba and Jamaica. Yeah.
Wow.
Larry called back. He's on his way to the VA, so he's got a minute to talk baseball.
Who's that?
Gamecock
Larry.
So he's officially on hold right now?
He's on hold again.
Okay.
Jen, do I have anything in the 8 o'clock hour, or am I done for the day?
I forgot to type it to you guys. 2 breaks. Corley Pools at 8:10 and Buford Lending at 8:40.
Corley Pools.
8:40. Yeah.
I'll type it. Sorry, a little distracted.
One of your boyfriends on the phone line call in again? Is that why you got distracted?
I try to keep that stuff a little bit on the private side. Thank you very much, but
I'm just for all the lives. Anybody wants to call in, just get the latest. Shouldn't be limited. We can be like the TMZ of sports talk radio.
Yeah, someone who screens calls. Sometimes I love when people call just to chat.
It's nice that they call and they're interested. As long as it gets wrapped up, it's fine. When I used to work at another station in town where, I was doing his music station, so more music intensive and shorter talk. And you would have some of the ones who would come talk and want to continue to talk. And then there was the one that would call and ask you about your feet and might be breathing a little odd. The one guy who offered to loan me swim trunks, so I could come out and swim in his pond.
Wait, what? Swim in his pond?
Yeah.
I feel like this is a segment that got cut out of Caddyshack.
Right.
Oh, pond probably good for you.
Yeah, there were some interesting ones. I think the one that freaked me out the most was one guy who showed up at our other station in Casey, and security was not the best. And he said he'd stop by, and I was like, no, that's not a good idea. Well, he did anyway, and our front door was not locking at the time. And so he shows up at my studio door, and I'm like, and anybody who is familiar with the board at all, you can have the volume brought up, but just not have your mic level on. So I basically had the level up. So all I had to do was push the button to turn it on and be like, help if I needed to. I mean, it freaked me out a little bit. After that, I got on our engineer, and we had a door that locked better. But so yeah, there's some interesting people that call. Not those aren't the ones who are calling us, but yeah, there's some fun stories from music radio.
When it was just Bill and I think I opened every hour with, if you're gonna call, here's how you call. Hi, my name is Patrick, and I would like to talk about the Masters. And that's all you say. It's like, don't give me small talk. You don't have to ask how I'm doing. We don't have to have like that little interaction. Just say your name and what you want to talk about.
Right. I got worried that week that you would be too much on you, and it was just gonna be me doing the show. And you did a good job of putting the bumpers down and keeping people straight.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just nice.
Well, it was just Bill and I was running the live stream and the board and to do the coast, and I was like, I don't have time to chat. Just tell me what you want to talk about. I'll put you on hold.
All right, we're back in the open.
Let's go with Wes Clark on the fans here, on the capacity to start.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, it's so exciting. I can't wait to see, all the fans in here just really cheering us on and getting loud. And everyone on the team is just so excited for full capacity. That's something we've been waiting for all season, and we finally,
Yep.
They're going to help us. They're going to be our 10th player out there on the field, and we're just excited.
That's Gamecock slugger Wes Clark. Last night hit his 20th home run in the Gamecocks 2-0 win over Appalachian State. That's now tied for the lead in the country, most home runs in the country, and talking about the opportunity to have a full Founders Park now for the first time in a long time this weekend against Tennessee, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Bill.
A couple of things, and I'm just interested how many people want to go or will go. We're saying a full Founders Park as if it's a certainty that they're going to sell out. Do you guys think it's a certainty that it'll be 3 games full capacity?
No, and I don't know what game would be the most crowded. Do you have an idea about that, Tim?
I would guess that Friday night game, right?
Yeah.
So it's Thursday at 7, Friday at 7, and then Saturday at noon. The way things are heating up here in the next few days, I'm guessing that nooner on Saturday is going to be a steamer. But I would just guess Friday night, just because of the nature of and Brett Carey's going. I would think that would be the best opportunity. I think it's impossible to handicap though, Bill, because of what we've all gone through here in the last several months. Years.
Well, I wonder about that. I wonder about that with where people stand, and not to take this down a political path or anything like that. Just look, here's what I think is about to happen. I think you're going to see. There's an article out I was reading on ESPN about the Ryder Cup in September, and they're planning already for full capacity. I think they said it's going to be the fan experience that you always enjoy. We're heading to full capacity. We're heading to, I think, in the next few weeks. I don't see why South Carolina would do it right now, but people that I've talked to, I think tickets for football season are due. I believe your purchase for football season are due by Friday. I could be wrong on that. But they're planning for full capacity at football games. I think it's just a matter of time before they announce that. I wonder how people feel now about getting back out and going to games. I wonder how Gamecock fans feel about getting back out and going this weekend, if we will see full capacity. Because here's the other part about this, and this ties into a conversation I think we had yesterday. Days run together on me. We talked about scheduling in football and going to, we talked about going to away games yesterday, but we talked about scheduling in football and scheduling. I heard Patrick was talking about it when I was gone, playing Akron at noon, and you don't have the energy and the excitement and everybody's fired up. If this was Missouri this weekend, let's say it's an SEC series, but it's Missouri. You think the energy and the excitement for full capacity is the same as it is playing a top 5 team?
Definitely not.
Is it being hyped up as much? I'm not saying that they wouldn't have announced full capacity. I'm just saying, do you think the energy, do you think that we're talking about the ability to go to the ballpark, full capacity, and cheer? Because I'll tie this back into the football discussion yesterday and what people were saying about, well, I want to play 3 cupcakes so we get 3 wins versus, 2 really good brand name teams, because it creates a different level of energy when you go to the basketball arena, the football field, the baseball field, whatever, for being a fan. And I think that's an interesting scenario. And then you go back to just where we are as a society now, whether they get 3 or 2 sold out games over the weekend. 'Cause I'm with Tim. I think Friday night will be a fantastic atmosphere there. 7:00 game. I think that'll be the one, obviously, that a lot of people will get into.
Well, the fact that you have 2 night games, which is really rare to begin with, and the Thursday, Friday, Saturday deal, I think just works out perfectly for this series. And if you are going to get sold out crowds, I think this is exactly how you draw it up from a ticket standpoint. And just by the reaction we've gotten on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line this morning, we've gotten people asking for the phone number to buy tickets, or can you do it online? And then if there's going to be a mask requirement, there will not be one for the outside area at Founders Park. If you go anywhere inside, they still are requiring you that you wear a mask. No restrictions from a tailgating standpoint either. So basically this thing is 100% open, and might be, your first opportunity, I think it would be mine if I go to be at an event like this. Like I've seen it on TV, saw that Ole Miss Mississippi State series, saw when Carolina was at Ole Miss. My wife just popped in real quick. She's like, oh, nobody's wearing masks. This is weird. She was happy to see that. I've seen where stores now have changed. A lot of the signs have changed from required to recommended for face coverings, right? And so, Bill, I'm with you. I don't know the response here. I think from what we have seen, that when Founders Park moved from 25% to 50%, we didn't see tons of people jumping at that opportunity. Maybe this is different just because of where we're at, and certainly Gamecock baseball not the only ones, and not leading the way here, right? We've seen other venues already open up, and maybe Gamecock fans will be more willing to do this at this time. But also what you mentioned too, this is one of the best baseball teams in the country coming in Tennessee. South Carolina baseball has always been above Tennessee for the last couple of decades in the SEC pecking order, and I know Gamecock fans not ready to give that away. And this team particularly, this year, the 2021 version of Gamecock baseball, that's the one question left. Are you good enough to beat the best teams in the country? By and large, outside of the Florida series this year, Carolina hasn't been. And Mark Kingston himself has said that's the last step for this team, to start beating the best teams in the country. And this weekend is the opportunity not only to do that, but also to sew up a home regional where, man, the numbers, the percentage chances of you advancing in the college baseball postseason are so much greater if you're playing at home. There's just so much on the line there, man. I anticipate a fantastic environment. Whether it's sold out or not, to me, is kind of immaterial. I mean, if there's 6,800 fans instead of technically, 7,000 and a sellout, I think those who choose to be there are going to be in a really good mood and really can create a big-time home field advantage for the Gamecocks in this one.
Yeah, and I guess I wonder this too, with school being out. I don't know what the student population at the game, student attendance at the game will be, because I think that was early in the season. Was it the Missouri series or whatever? I believe it was the students, correct me if I'm wrong, that drew the ire of the Yellow Jackets and the Missouri Tigers and created all the buzz about fan interaction with the opposition, because I don't know how many of the actual listeners go. I don't know. That's also an interesting question. How many of our listeners actually go and heckle? And what's your best heckle if you get to go back out tomorrow night? Maybe that's the question for hour number 3.
They won't be getting kicked out for it either, though, because the lack of fans was what drew so much attention to it in the first place. Like, you're the only guy yelling and everyone's looking at you. It makes it look worse.
You got the opportunity now to give the old, hey, it's not me, man. Just point to the next guy move.
Or just back up, you yell something ridiculous, and then just
blame your significant other. Just point to the significant other and be like, it was her, it was him. I don't know. I can't believe what they say. You should hear what they say to me at the house.
Yeah. Like high school basketball, we would have ridiculous signs, and the principal would come try to take the sign away. You just pass it back into the crowd, and you just hide it into the crowd and move it around. Like, you could just yell whatever you want and back up slowly.
I would be interested. What's your best heckle? Like we get heckled. People in the text line heckle us a little bit. I take it as heckling. I don't take it as seriousness. But are you the throw it in the dirt guy, or last night, what was it? The Appalachian State pitcher went on a run of balls there. I think he got Tim, he got the 13 or 11, or I can't remember. I want to say he walked 2 straight guys, was on the verge of, I think, going to 3, and I can't remember if he got to 3 and then the next pitch was a strike. But people are having a good time with the ball 4, ball 8, ball 11.
Yeah,
I don't know what the best.
Hope mentions they were loud last night, and Alan G says, yeah, there was some great heckling at last night's game. But that's part of it too, has been like the lack of distraction and the access the fans have had because of less capacity being allowed. It'll be interesting to see how that changes it all. And Alan also mentions that he doesn't know about Gamecock athletics, but he knows the attendance at the Wells Fargo Championship up in Charlotte recently was incredible. Another perspective, Justin, on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line, if it's anything like Bike Week just returned. Justin says, folks will be ready to let loose. No masks. It was glorious. So there are a lot of, I think, factors pointing in the Gamecocks' direction for this thing. And Founders Park opening up at 100% capacity should make for quite the scene, quite the place for baseball in the next 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And having something to legitimately play for, as in hosting a regional, because if they can win 2 of 3,
I think it does it.
You know, you look at the rest of the schedule in the SEC. I'll stand by what I said at the beginning of the week. That is what I think is going to happen, and that's you're going to get 6 host sites from the SEC, 6 host sites. And I think you've got 4 of them that are definitely locked in. And then you've got Florida, South Carolina, and Mississippi all fighting for 2 of the 3 spots. South Carolina has the sweep over Florida. They were swept by Mississippi. But if you look at the schedule for the weekend, South Carolina's got to deal with Tennessee. So that's difficult, obviously. But if you look at the schedule for the weekend, Florida's got Arkansas. Going real quick, Florida has got to go on the road to number 1 Arkansas. Mississippi is at Georgia, so it is at least a road series. I guess South Carolina's kind of somewhere in between. They're getting a home series against Tennessee, with Florida and Mississippi going on the road. Mississippi State, I heard you rattle off the teams there earlier, Tim. Mississippi State's on the road at Alabama this weekend. And Kentucky goes to Kentucky at Vanderbilt, Auburn at Missouri, and LSU is at Texas A&M this weekend. So I think you're right. If the Florida-Arkansas series plays out kind of as you think, with Arkansas maybe taking 2 of 3 or even sweeping, maybe that opens the door for South Carolina to jump ahead of Florida in that hosting plan that they would have. Because I think 6 from the SEC is what gets it. I'd be shocked if they went to 7.
Well, I think this is kind of exactly what you want. You want to put yourself in position to have success in the postseason, was always the line from Ray Tanner. Now you've put yourself in position to get that home regional. You win a home series at the end of the season, you deserve it. I think with the schedule. And if you don't, I think Gamecock fans would be okay, could understand for sure. Close, but not quite there. Got to be a 2 seed and go on the road in another regional. And Gamecock teams have had some success doing that in the past and gone to the College World Series that route, but it is a much more difficult one. But when you look at the losses, especially I'm looking at the national rankings right now, Arkansas, Texas, Vanderbilt. Those are 3 of the, 4 series losses this year?
Mm-hmm.
And then you throw in the one other one is Ole Miss, who's all the way down, at number 13 right now. That's it. I don't think those series losses of Mississippi State, the other one. So 5 series losses, and they're ranked number 10.
I do. This is the only projection that we have to go on. And so I do wonder if South Carolina fans would get on board with this. D1Baseball.com put out their projection yesterday, prior to the Appalachian State game. They had South Carolina as a 2 seed in the East Carolina Regional. Now that's not bad. They've got East Carolina, South Carolina's 2, Virginia is 3, Campbell is 4. What becomes interesting about that is you're matched up with the Tucson Regional, with Arizona being your potential super regional. And I only ask that because if I told you that you could host a regional, but that you would in turn likely be matched up with, say, a Mississippi State, with an Arkansas, with a Vanderbilt, so another one of those 3 SEC teams, or I tell you can avoid the SEC teams and get an Arizona or a Notre Dame, but you've got to go on the road in the regional to get that Super. What would you rather have? Because I saw that yesterday. That little debate kind of broke out on Twitter just regards to the D1 baseball projection of, do you want to face an SEC team in the regional, or would you rather go on the road in a regional but get, say, a Notre Dame or an Arizona who appears to be in line for one of the top 8 seeds?
Well, and the weird thing about that is I think the way that the tournament's going to work this year is they got to go ahead and determine that super regional site as the higher seed. I'm pretty sure that's the way it's going to work out. in years past, the Gamecocks have ended up hosting a regional. Remember, North Carolina came to Sarge Fry back in the day when they didn't even host. That was a super regional series. They didn't even host the regional series. They had gone on the road to Georgia Tech that year. They're not going to allow that flexibility. If you're not hosting a regional, you will not host a super regional. So the possibility could be, Bill, that 2 Southeast teams go out to Arizona for a super regional. I think that's how it could work in this weird 2021 NCAA baseball tournament. That's a little bit down the line. I think obviously the program's going to be the one game at a time mentality and try to take care of business and then make the NCAA tournament committee make a difficult decision. I think if you don't win the series this weekend, it's a pretty easy decision for them to put you as a 2 seed and send you somewhere else. But when you're talking about where the NCAA tournament will be, I think from an NCAA standpoint, you'd much rather have a Columbia, South Carolina regional than a Gainesville, Florida regional. It's just what the environments have been in college baseball. Clearly here in Columbia, Carolina fans care a lot about college baseball. That hasn't been the case at Florida, and I know they're upgrading the stadium and the whole thing, and they're trying to change that environment, but that's just not what it's been. Let's get out to
I don't think
Go ahead.
Real quick, I don't think they get sent on the road to an SEC school for the regional.
Right,
I'm looking
no doubt.
down the line at the super regional. So
Agreed.
Just a little different.
Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Our favorite 86-year-old caller, Gamecock Larry, has been waiting most patiently at this point to join us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jen, Tim, Bill, and Patrick. I'm glad we had a game like we had last night, 2-0. I'd rather have one like that than have a runaway by the Gamecocks. I really would, because the motivation is on our side, and we won last night 2-0, which was good. But we got to win at least 2 out of 3 from Tennessee this weekend. But old Gamecock Larry, he's going to tell it like it is. I'm going to say I am looking for a sweep, and I'm going to stick to it until we lose one. Go.
Gamecock Larry, glad to hear you sounding well this morning, sir. Shocking prediction that Gamecock Larry is predicting a sweep for Carolina.
I am glad he sounds good, but I feel like that's a poll question. Does Gamecock Larry tell it like it is? Yes or no?
Until it's not.
Until it's not.
Tells it like it is until it's not.
I mean, that's a great way to win every time. Win your bets.
William, good
He tells
luck.
it like it is until he's proven wrong.
Good luck
He tells it
following
like
up
it's gonna be.
Gamecock Larry, but we're going to try it. William, a third base heckler himself, so we're getting the inside scoop this morning on the Love Chevy phone lines. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. We're going to have a quasi reunion Thursday night. Some of us ancient, world famous third base hecklers, but we're going to have to, change our act just a little bit. I don't know if you guys remember, we were kind of raunchy back in the days, so we're going to have to behave a little bit better than we did in our youth. But we'll be there and we'll be screaming.
Good news there. What kind of numbers we talking about, William? How many original third base hecklers you organizing here?
Well, if we can keep them all sober, maybe a half dozen to 10.
Gotcha. Good
Yeah,
luck
but we're
with
going
that.
to go out there early. We're going to go out there early and put on our chicken hats and then pour liquor all over ourselves. So we'll see what happens. We're getting ready for the Carolina Cup Saturday. We're going to go out there and dress up, pour liquor all over ourselves and camp. So it's kind of a warm up over the top, but we're going to be screaming. So get ready. Have come back.
There it is, William, the inside scoop. Did you guys catch that? Was that just me pour liquor all over ourselves?
He didn't mean it, because that's abuse. That's abuse. We don't do that. We don't do that.
Too expensive to do that.
Right?
Well,
That's wasted good stuff.
there's some really cheap stuff out there. I can
Yeah.
tell you that.
Pour some beer all over yourself.
That's an angel.
the worst.
Gotten into.
Yeah, no. To pour beer all over yourself?
That's something you've done in your
Yeah.
past.
Why do you-
But
why do you-
I've had it.
Poured or spilled on me. You know,
remember it,
This changing. This story is changing quickly, isn't it, Tim? You went from I've poured it. I mean, I've had it. It's been spilled.
no, sorry. I don't. It has never been poured directly on me on purpose, or I have not poured it on myself, but it has been spilled on me. And then you sit through a game and it stinks. And the hotter it is, the worse it smells.
Well,
It
The
smells.
life and times of Jen.
She is a
Jensen
Cubs
in
fan.
College would be,
And that's
that
where
would
it's
be-
happened.
Of course, that's what Wrigley Field's all about.
Mhm.
Well done. So we've just
I
gotten.
was thinking Indy 500. I imagine just everyone walking into the Indy 500 is drenched in beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you
Especially
think
depends
that-
on the section.
It always sounds like what happens at a Buffalo football game with the Bills Mafia. That sounds like their kind of thing before they go into a game.
From
Your
the
lot's
ori-
like 2 lots down from the fraternity lots. Have you seen what goes on there? Every student walking across that lot is.
I
drenched in beer.
occasionally might walk back there.
I mean, and that's kind of like the whole infield at the 500, the amount of drinking, carrying on. And, there was a woman who I think at the time was in her 60s, and I had Trent with me, and he was probably 12, and, she flashed him, and I was like, oh my gosh, so.
Let's take.
That's how Ricky Bobby met his wife.
I think you're right. I think you're right. That's okay.
We're gonna regroup. We'll take a break here. It's the early game. It's 107.5 The Game.
The Gamecocks and new head football.
You're clear.
I'm a process-driven person, and we're going to get started day one, advancing this program and making it better.
Some of you may not be going to the baseball game this weekend to tailgate. Maybe you're going to hang out on your back porch and pour beer on yourself there to tailgate like Jen Jensen does for the Indy 500. After you do that, what you may want to then do is jump in your pool. Now, that's not good for your pool. I'm pretty sure beer in the pool is a bad thing. That's where Corley Pool Solutions comes in to clean up your mistakes from your pool, to do it professionally. 20 years of experience in the business. They can do flat rate pricing, including all the chemicals. So no matter whether it's Mother Nature or you that's causing issues with your pool, Tracy Corley and his team are there to clean your pool so that your significant other, your kids, the family pets can all enjoy the pool after you have made a mistake. 803-445-8109. Again, 803-445-8109. Weekly pool service, flat rate pricing, including all the chemicals. Don't mess around with it yourself. Use Tracy Corley and his team. 803-445-8109. It's Corley Pool Solutions.
So Kwame Brown, just Google Kwame Brown and find some videos. If you go down a rabbit hole, there's at least an hour's worth of videos. It's some of the funniest, craziest stuff I've heard in a long time.
Some video? What is he? He's just talking?
Well, so Gilbert Arenas went on, Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes have a podcast, and Gilbert Arenas went on there and I guess was just kind of trashing Kwame Brown, calling him a bust and all that stuff. And Kwame did not take kindly to it and just went on a rampage on Instagram Live and all these different things, just ripping every single one of them to shreds. Going after Matt Barnes about Derek Fisher stealing his wife and just ridiculous stuff. Went in on them, and they all basically just threw in the towel. They apologized to him on Twitter and all these things, and apparently Kwame Brown is somebody you do not want to be on the bad side of.
Really?
Oh, dude, watch the videos. You can watch them for 2 minutes and you'll get the gist of it and be like, oh my goodness. There's not a 5-second clip of anything he said that could have been radio friendly. You can't isolate any 5-second span of any of his videos to be radio appropriate.
Yeah, it says I'm looking at Bleacher Report. It says not safe for work.
Oh, not at all. He's also taking a live video while he's driving 80 miles an hour in a pickup truck, and you just see
So apparently, yeah, then he discussed Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, and Skip Bayless in a profanity-laced tirade Tuesday.
Yeah. Because Stephen A. has just ripped on him for a long time apparently, and on Twitter, I think somebody said, "Hey, are you going to respond to Kwame Brown?" And Stephen A. was like, "I will not be doing that." He just wanted no parts of it.
Oh, I like how this, of all things on Bleacher Report, TMZ noted the 39-year-old South Carolina native posted a reply to the remarks on Instagram. Why is he also got to be a South Carolina native?
I don't know, but it was savage in every sense of the word.
Really? Where was Kwame Brown from in South Carolina?
Yeah, I don't remember that at all either.
Yeah, he was from Georgia. It says he's from Charleston.
Huh.
He must have moved. He went to Glenn Academy in Georgia. God, he played with a lot of teams.
Yeah. He made a lot of money. He played for over 10 years, didn't he?
Think so. He was in the league for over 10 years. It's different than playing.
I mean, he played for 7 teams from 2001 to 2013. I mean, that's
7 teams.
That's solid. We better be careful. Next thing you know, we'll be the target of one of his rants.
I mean, he shut down the internet for a little while. It was crazy. No one will ever, with a big platform, will ever criticize him again.
13 years in the league total, 607 games. That's an average of 46.7 games a year.
About 55%, maybe 60%.
He had made.
Yeah.
How much money do you think he made?
I mean, I'd guess 60 million. I'd bump up 75 million. I think 75 million is a nice round number for him.
Tim?
I go 100.
63. He was a little too early. He was a little too early to the game.
Well, he got a big contract being the number 1 pick. That's what it was.
It was, yeah, but his rookie salary was only 3.7.
Are you
and
serious?
Today, it's guys are making a lot more than that. The most he ever made in a year was $9 million in his 1 year with Memphis. Compared to guys making
Washington offered him. This is why Washington struggles in basketball. After his first 3 years in Washington, they offered him a 5-year, $30 million contract that he rejected. I really don't remember that, to test the free agent market.
5 years, $30 million is like the 8th guy on the bench now in the NBA.
Well, everything went up.
Yeah. $30 million is not even a max contract anymore in 1 year.
It was LaRon Profit. Why do I remember LaRon Profit? LaRon Profit's from Charleston and played for Maryland.
When did he play for Maryland?
95 to 99. I knew I remembered that name.
That's why I don't remember him.
He ended up graduating from Camden, Delaware, but his dad was LaRon Profit was his dad was in the U.S. Air Force. As he bounced around, so he's born in Charleston. He's not actually from Charleston. He went to Camden, Delaware. Interesting. I wonder where Kwame Brown was originally going to go to. I wonder if he was going to go to Burke or. That's interesting about that. I didn't know he was originally from Charleston.
But I remembered LaRon Profit.
No, big. Was it Father Caraway? And yeah, LaRon Profit. I knew that name stood out. I couldn't remember where it was. Charleston. How about that?
I think Maryland basketball might be his second favorite team in all.
Your dad's?
I think so.
Do you remember Steve Francis?
No, not really.
I mean, like all those. I love those Maryland teams. Francis and Juan Dixon.
Well, they didn't play together, I don't think.
I know. I'm just going back through all the point guards they had.
That championship team, Steve Blake, Juan Dixon, was the backcourt of that championship team.
Yeah. I forgot about Steve Blake. Yeah, those were fun teams to watch. They beat Indiana, right? That was the Indiana year. They went and beat Indiana in the championship game.
With, Jared Jeffries.
Yeah. God, he ended up being nothing, didn't he?
And back in.
Guys are up.
Just a quick reminder, 803-978-6654, the number for the Hot Take Hotline. There for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can vent at any time. 978-6654, sponsored by Twin Peaks for the men who never settle. Go see them down in the Vista at 600 Bay Street. Our Hot Take Hotline. And 978-6654 is the number. What a fun day it is. Talking about 100% capacity now, the option for Founders Park. Just heard from former Gamecock Grayson Griner there in the break. I looked it up. That was my first thought last night to see if he had happened to get in the game for the Detroit Tigers. And not currently on their roster I'm looking at for the Tigers this year. Did hit a home run a few weeks ago, but he did not catch that game. And isn't this where we are in Major League Baseball as well, guys, that this is the 5th no-hitter of the year for the Detroit Tigers yesterday. Spencer Turnbull throws it, and it's like not even bad knock. It's one of the problems kind of about baseball now that some of the special parts of the game have been made less special. And then when you get the conversation that we've been talking about a lot this morning about a 3-0 green light or somebody swinging and hitting a home run on a 3-0 pitch, up 15-4, it's the biggest controversy in the game. And the manager calls the player out, and the player's like, no, I'm going to keep going.
Just reset, which is the 5th no-hitter of the Major League season. Not the way you worded it. Maybe I had to look it back up. The way you worded it was 5th no-hitter for the Tigers this year. I was like, that's got to be some kind of record.
Yeah, of the year.
And I'm just looking. I'm looking at the article, 5th no-hitter of the year in Major League Baseball. I'm just looking at the article and just going back to the previous segment. It made me laugh because it says that he threw the no-hitter, and a few hours later, or he starts the game, obviously, walked out of the bullpen Tuesday night feeling terrible, hoping a shaky pregame warm-up would not continue once he stepped on the mound. A few hours later, he's being slammed in the face with shaving cream and doused in water, beer, and baby powder.
Oh, yeah.
Seems unnecessary.
No, that's especially for this dude. I don't think he'd gone more than 7 innings this year. And he led the big leagues a couple of years ago in losses. 3-17, I think Spencer Turnbull was.
It was, yeah.
And now no hitter, nothing to it.
The 5 no hitters, Tim. I'm reading the ESPN article. The 5
Give me
no hitters.
1917, Bill. Let's hear it.
Well, we read the same article. There should be more articles out there. The 5 no hitters through May 18th matched the 1917 season for the most in baseball history by that date. What does that mean to you? Let's go back where Tim just started by that. I'm with you. I don't even bat an eye now when I hear about a no-hitter. Like, is that a sign of baseball? Is that the post-steroid juiced bat ball era? What is that?
Yeah, to me, it's just where baseball is right now. It's become relatively commonplace. Now, I think we talked about maybe the Orioles one a little earlier. I forget which other one I watched this year. Oh, it was Carlos Rodon when he threw one earlier, because watched him at NC State, and he also has come through some struggles, even though he was the former number 1 overall pick, I believe, or top pick, but battled back from injuries. And I think it has to also be a bit of a story. What was the Padres guy, the first guy to do it this year? He grew up in San Diego, but I mean, 5 already so far in the big leagues. And I think strikeouts are up at the highest rate, and the batting average is down at its lowest rate right now. Something to that effect, like historic highs and lows, is just what baseball has become. And then you get that conversation, I think, that just grizzles all of us. Like, the guy's own manager is mad at a guy hitting a home run. Well, what are you doing? I don't quite get it. I thought we're turning the page to some fun, and Fernando Tatis and company letting that happen. And then you got the 76-year-old Tony La Russa that we've been talking about a little bit this morning, just saying, no, there's no place for that. You got to respect the game. And still looking for an explanation about how a position player for the Minnesota Twins in the 9th inning, down 15-4, pitching and throwing a 47-mile-an-hour baseball up there to the plate, has anything to do with respecting the game of baseball. It's a weird game in a lot of ways. And last night, the no-hitter last night, kind of throw it right in that category. I'm with you, Bill. Not a lot of national celebration or anything to that effect.
Give us a perfect game. That's what we want. How many guys did he walk? That's almost like the more interesting thing now. Like, how close was he to a perfect game? Because at least the Orioles guy only faced 27 batters, and that was like the cool part of that one. He had a no-hitter, but there was like a passed ball, and then they threw the guy out at second, so he only faced minimum.
Yeah, so that's pretty commonplace right now. The fifth one already this year. Quickest that's happened since 1917.
Struck out 9 and walked 2 is the answer for you there, Patrick. Struck out 9, walked 2. And to Tim's point, had not gone, he had 49 previous outings prior, or 48 previous outings. Last night was number 49. He had not gone more. No, it was 49 starts over 3 seasons. So last night was number 50. 49 starts over 3 seasons. Never gone more than 7 innings in any of them.
All right, good story. Don't get me wrong. It's a good story, but it's hard to keep buying into these good stories when they become so commonplace. I think in this season anyway, and we've seen baseball become kind of feast or famine there at the plate, and I think Gamecock baseball may be a scaled down version of that. 2-0 last night's final score, and a head scratchingly on a Tuesday midweek game against Appalachian State after they scored 32 runs combined in 3 games at Kentucky over the weekend. We'll see what happens Thursday, Friday, Saturday against Tennessee, where now 100% capacity is allowed. Wes Clark with a home run last night, his 20th of the season, now tied for the national lead one more time. Wanted to switch gears to golf real quick. We got to get in our picks. It's Wednesday. Not going to stretch this thing all the way out until tomorrow because groups will have already gone off at the PGA Championship down at Kiowa Island on the Ocean Course. All right, you get one relative favorite to pick as your winner, and then somebody as a bit of a dark horse that's going to make some noise that isn't amongst the Vegas favorites anyway, maybe someone out of the top 10 Vegas favorites that you think is going to make a run and be in contention and be a factor, let's say, in the PGA Championship.
All right, I'm pulling up. I'm going to go with the world golf rankings on that. Can we do, does that work for you, or are we going to do Vegas odds?
Either way, it doesn't matter to me. I'll probably argue that whichever category they would fall in still counts as one of the favorites. And
Jordan Spieth is 26 in the world rankings, but he's a favorite.
Correct. Yeah. So
Okay, so Vegas odds. All right, that's fine.
Let's go Vegas odds.
I'll do it. That's no problem. Pulling those up now. I'll have it ready in the next second.
I don't know the Vegas odds, but I just kind of generally know who's like the household names and the favorites.
Right. Okay, so let's start with you, Patrick, since you're willing to make a decision.
Next segment.
I'm willing. No, gotta do it now, man. What do you got? Who are you predicting will win the PGA Championship this weekend down in Kiowa Island?
My favorite, I want to pick Brooks Koepka. He's won 2 of the last 3 PGA Championships. That's his tournament.
Or Patrick doesn't realize.
And I like him a lot.
I was
going to say you.
No, he does, but he said he's healthy. He said he's feeling good.
He said he's months from being 100%.
He doesn't need to be 100%. He's a piece. I don't care. He's playing hurt.
All right.
You're right.
Kiowa, and then my
Ocean Course at Kiowa.
By the way, Brooks Koepka is
gotta be 30 to 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Brooks Koepka is 13th if you were doing your top 10. He is actually behind my guy, Patrick Reed. Love me some Patrick Reed. But he's 13th. So if you want to take a top 10, I guess by you guys standard rules.
What do you got at the odds?
Not even hit it.
Koepka's getting
plus 37 to 1. I'm using VegasInsider.com. VegasInsider.com is our let's cite our source.
We'll come back to your dark horse. Jen, can you give us a pick? Who you think's going to win the PGA Championship this week?
Daniel.
Who's your take? Who you take?
Berger. Daniel Berger.
Daniel Berger. Interesting. Any particular reason?
No, just some stats, some reading, and just I think the name's fun. So
see how that works, Bill? When Jen doesn't know it, the ins and outs of why she's making a pick, she just says because it's what I read, as opposed to your NASCAR pretending you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, ask Jen where she's at in our NASCAR standings, and ask me where I'm at. Tell me what's working.
I won't ask either of those questions. All right, what's your pick, man? You gonna make a pick, or are you gonna?
I'm confused. We're making one pick or 2 picks because I was
making 2 picks. The first round is favorites. The second round will be dark horses.
Give me. I think Justin Thomas is due. I like Thomas in this one. Let me take Justin Thomas.
Okay, I would have taken him as well. He was my pick to win the Masters. Didn't happen there, obviously. I will go with Jordan Spieth though.
Okay.
The kind of maybe I don't know the popular pick, or I think the sentimental favorite. That's the word I was looking for, sentimental, because it would complete the career Grand Slam. And I think obviously he hits the ball far enough. He's been playing pretty well. Will be interesting to see if he stays in it. I hope he does, because I think he's trending in that direction for sure. All right, dark horses. Patrick, who are you going as your dark horse at the PGA Championship?
I'm thinking with guys that I like, and I'm going with the kid who was on the Corn Ferry Tour like, a month ago, still doesn't have his tour card and just showed up at the Masters. I want Will Zalatoris.
That's a good one. I looked. He was one of the ones that I'm looking. He is down there at 60-1, and that's a pretty good pick there.
It's a great dark horse. All right, Jen, you got a dark horse selection for the PGA Championship?
Matt Wallace.
Interesting.
Matt Wallace. I have to make sure there's even a Matt Wallace playing. Oh, there he is. 150-1. That's a dark horse. That qualifies.
Well, and I thought that's kind of what was the game, to really literally a dark horse.
Okay, fair enough. And Bill, where you go?
I'm going to go with Tommy Fleetwood. It's going to play similar to a links style course, and I think with his background growing up in England and playing on those kind of courses in the wind, he's 55-1. He's actually right ahead of Zalatoris. So I like Tommy Fleetwood if you're doing a dark horse pick here.
Okay, I'll go with the South Carolina, bit of a dark horse. I'm guessing. I haven't looked at what you're looking at, the Vegas odds. I'm guessing Kevin Kisner is somewhere around those odds, maybe a little bit worse off. Clearly a bomber, but the South Carolina native, I'll give Kevin Kisner my shot as the dark horse. Just
Kiz is 280-1. That's another dark horse. You have gone further. Kisner and Phil Mickelson have the same odds, as well as my man Francisco.
And he's
Molinari.
super likable. So you want to pick a guy that you can cheer for. Only Bill can cheer for Patrick Reed.
That's right. It's my guy. No, I don't. Look, he would have been down my list. I like Thomas this week. I really, the other guy, if you'd have taken Thomas, I would have gone Schauffele. He's Alexander Schauffele's 20-1. I like him this week. It wouldn't surprise me if a guy like who Jen took as her favorite, Daniel Berger. I could see a Webb Simpson. I feel like some of these guys are right there on the cusp, but I went with Justin Thomas, who's got the second best odds behind Roy McIlroy. But no, Patrick Reed would not be. I don't think this course sets up well for Patrick Reed this week.
Well, he's at the top of my list of guys I do not want to win. I'm trying to think who else would be up there. Koepka's also up there. Patrick's pick. Don't want to see him win. Other than that, I might be good with anybody else. Would like to see Rory win. I think it would be great for golf. He comes back and wins this thing a second time after winning it in 2012 and gets on a bit of a run. He just won at Wells Fargo. That would be tremendous. I think Spieth, obviously tremendous. Justin Thomas, if he wins it, Bill. If Colin Morikawa was to go back-to-back, I think that would be really good for golf. Max Homa, another young guy. Victor Hovland, any of these guys I think would be good for golf.
If you follow the weather reports and the way it's supposed to go, I think the wind and maybe Steven, who hits us up on the live stream, can or somebody can correct me on this. I believe the wind is projected to blow one way. I was kind of watching. I didn't watch any of it yesterday, but I was watching Monday. They're projecting the wind to blow one way for 3 straight days and then completely shift on Sunday. And I think, look, it's going to be a tough course. I real quick, we'll go through, if y'all want to do it real quickly, just what you think the score will be in relation to par. Because I would say it's going to be maybe +1, even at the best. Are you guys with me?
They'll go under. They always go under.
You got to give some perspective on this thing. Do you know what Rory's final tally was the last time they played here for the PGA?
Well, he won by 8 strokes, but what was the course playing? What was 2012 PGA Championship length? What was? Do we know the length?
Long.
Yeah, but Brooks went 264 in 2018.
And what's 264? I don't even know what that means.
That's the lowest that I see on the entire list of scores ever.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. Didn't win big.
In 2018?
I think you're saying from a PGA standpoint. We're saying from the Ocean Course standpoint.
Oh,
yeah.
And Rory, I believe, was 13 under back then. And we, like you mentioned, won it going away easily. I think it's going to be 5 under wins this thing.
This course looks so hard. I'm watching a flyover tour on YouTube right now of every hole, and there's so much sand.
Oh, it is incredible, and in every sense of that word for sure. Dramatic conclusion of the show coming up. 76-76 is what it played back in 2012, Bill. 7,676 yards. I think it's about 150 yards longer than that this time around.
Yeah.
It's the early game. Full of numbers here on 107.5.
Your 24/7 sports station.
I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good.
107.5 The Game.
Man, timing. Great time to be a sports fan right now in so many different ways. Great time to get into the housing market. You're looking to refinance. You're looking for a new house. Maybe you're a veteran. You're looking at a VA loan. Man, Buford Lending, the guys to call. Benji Getzi and the guys down at Buford Lending, his team, they've been in the business 25 years. Plenty of experience. One of the reasons why they think they can get you the best deal right now. 843-524-2404. And for an office that's a mile away from Paris Island, they understand completely what the veteran is looking for and what they can get a veteran right now. So that the VA loan specifically, or maybe you're looking to refinance. Maybe you're like me and you're looking to expand the current living situation. Look for a little bigger house because your family's expanded recently. Whatever you're looking for, Buford Lending will get you a great deal. All Benji Getzi asks is for you to put his name and number on your list and check him out. He is confident he can get you the best deal. 843-524-2404. Buford Lending.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com. Few tie-ups still happening out there. I-26 westbound at Bush River Road.
Oh, boy.
Also downtown
Bitter.
Lincoln Street at Blossom Street. And an earlier accident at South Lake Drive. Forecast is pretty darn nice for the next few days. 83 today, 86 tomorrow. Might see a spotty shower.
Love how you're not afraid to poke the bear there,
Now
Patrick.
it's breezy, and it's 63 at 107.5 The Game.
I'm assuming you can't have a golf cart on the course.
No, they have them. You just drive in the waste areas.
Oh.
Like that's the.
I was going to say, because I'm not seeing a cart path on this flyover
Yeah,
tour.
that's the cart path. The waste bunkers.
Are normal people allowed to play this course?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you played it?
For a price.
Have you guys played it?
I guess
I've never played this one. How, Tim? Do we even know the ballpark of how much it is?
Last I heard, like 250, I think, something like that.
Let's see here. This was from the Charlotte Observer.
If I didn't have the old media rate of free, I would not have played this thing.
This was Charlotte Observer back in 2019, and he is saying he loves the beach, but being in my mid-20s and spending too much money on beer and rent, important things, the green fee of around $380 plus a caddy tip scared the heck out of me.
Wow.
So that was the guy. He wrote this article on, this was in the Charlotte Observer, January 16th, or it was updated October 16th, 2019.
What is the most expensive public golf course in America?
Pebble Beach, I would say. Oh, no, maybe Bethpage Black?
This says that Pebble Beach is number 2, but it's only $5 cheaper than number 1 at $500.
Oh, wow. So he paid, so it was $380. So when he updated this article in December of 2018, well, he redid it in December of 2018. He said he called Kiowa Resort in December, asked if they had any deals for a buddy and me. They told me we could stay at the Sanctuary for one night and get 2 rounds of golf for $450 total, not per person, $450, 2 rounds of golf. So $225 plus the $70 recommended tip. So he said he had the weekend of his lifetime, 2 queen beds and a Forbes 5-star AAA 5-diamond hotel and a round at the legendary Ocean Course known as one of the toughest. Wow.
Good stuff. The UPS guy just popped up there.
Yeah.
This website says that Kiowa is the 10th most expensive course in America.
All right, so it's not Bethpage Black is what you're telling me.
No, it's not Pebble.
And so have we heard of this course is my question. Have you heard?
I had not heard of it, but I assume that you guys have heard of it.
Which one?
Give me a region of the country.
West. Not California, though.
Wait, what's your question, or what's your
most expensive public golf course in the country? It's not the one up in Washington that they had at U.S. Open, is it?
We're heading back in.
It's
so it's in
Vegas.
Is it Arizona? Is it Scottsdale?
No, that's on there though. It's in Vegas.
In Vegas?
Vegas.
Huh.
It's Shadow Creek.
Oh, it's the Wynn one. Is that right?
It's called Shadow Creek.
Yeah, me.
I've never heard of Shadow Creek. Pinehurst number 2, number 3.
You guys are up.
Gentleman and lady, Bill, Patrick, and Jen. For the first time in 14 months, I don't know how long it's been. It's been a year plus for sure. With the news yesterday that Founders Park will be open to 100% capacity this weekend. The Tony La Russa being against his player, swinging on a 3-0 pitch up 15-4 and hitting a home run. Dino Gaudio being charged with extortion after threatening to expose college basketball recruiting violations at Louisville. And us just general shenanigans. Jen relaying that horrifying story with her son at the Indy 500. This is a sports talk radio show from start to finish for the first time in 14 months. And I love it.
Glad you're
It's
happy.
gonna be a great night.
It's gonna be
At 6:30, best athlete in the world, Connor McDavid. First playoff game at 9 p.m. It's gonna be a beautiful night.
Look at that guy. He's fired up. Tim's fired up. Jen's reliving her glory days in college, pouring beer herself. And I feel rested after not using the air fryer and ordering pizza last night.
We've done it all this morning. We've done all we can do. Thanks for being a part of the show, whether you did it live video stream, you called us, you texted, however you did it. Thanks for listening to the early game here on 107.5 The Game. Thank you guys on the live stream too. See you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Maybe more sports talk radio. How about that?
How about that?
Concept.